think we're live. Oh, no.
She's alive. Icon and it's off the left screen because we've been live for 10 seconds now.
Austin, all of a sudden.
You're talking in the bottom of a bucket.
All of a sudden, yeah. What is going on, Austin? What was that?
Are you
he's getting out again.
Are we
We're
live?
live. We are live.
Okay, he's texted me back and said he wants a link.
He wants a link? Who?
The person we were talking about just a minute ago.
Simon?
Yes.
Oh, do you need a link?
Yeah.
You could send-
Like you want.
I just emailed him a link.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Tell him to check his email, and there's a link in there if you're talking to him. Oh,
Yes.
there's Austin again.
Right.
Still bad, Austin. I don't know what the hell's going on with your audio. It is.
Check to make sure that it didn't change off of your mic, like onto something else.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I know you had that problem last week, and anyway, so I guess we're at war. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been avoiding the subject all day. So,
Well, I've been kind of trying to keep an eye on it. So Iran fired back and bombed 5 different countries, bombed our bases in 5 different countries. So it's like, yeah, well, that's going to cost us a pretty penny, ain't it? I don't know what the fuck is
Wait a
going
minute.
on.
anything to stop talking about the Epstein files.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just blast those Epstein files right out of existence. If he could bomb those Epstein files, I'm pretty sure he would do that. I don't know. So, did you get a message, Simos, that?
Yeah, but he
his
wants
email?
me to post it on that, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Oh, can you copy a link from your email, the one I sent you? Just
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, and
the
then he
link
sent
in.
me a heart. Then he sent me a heart. Hey,
Okay.
Boomer does not know how to work like stuff
Well,
like
Simos doesn't know how to check his goddamn email.
that. Well, I can't complain at him because I can't do anything with it either.
I don't know
So
what he's complaining about.
he's not complaining. He sent me a heart. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, I kick his ass anyway. Okay, I just wanted to play this a little bit because there's some sad news in the community about Jimbob, and it's so sad, so sad. Let's see, where are we here?
I don't know.
That's all we do. That's all we need. Jimbob's live stream, they canceled it because he showed him carrying a gun or doing something with a toy gun or something like that. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but anyway. So and he has no idea whether they're going to put him live again. And he was complaining about, this is how I make my living. This is how he gets all his money, all of his money. Austin, you gonna let him in there, Scott?
I'm contemplating it.
Yeah. Try now. Austin?
I guess final try. If it's not working still, then.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
It's really bad.
Sorry about it. Welcome to
What are you using for a microphone? Anyway, well, we try. Anyway, let's see.
I think I got the links into Simos. I think it only took me like 10 minutes, but
let's see. Stop screen. Stop sharing. Anyway, I got a whole bunch of Jimbob stuff. I don't know.
I love
to
that
go
Mike
through.
and me both are technologically challenged.
Let's see. Did we do evolution cultist panel up last time? I'm not sure if we did or not. Did we? Did we do any of that?
Evolution cultist?
Yeah, panel up.
Don't know what
Willfully.
you're referring to.
Is that
the
us?
Jimbob stream.
Oh,
I
I
think
thought maybe that was us, the cultists.
I might have
Oh,
done
we're
that.
supposed to be cultists.
That's why I hear-
Yeah.
All hail our great leader.
I don't know. I'm sure I can find a lot of clips. I have so many fucking clips. There's so many bookmarks. It's just hard to say where to. Oh, did I play the dumb ape question last week? See, I'm not sure what I played last week. I was counting on you guys because.
Well,
watch for
you may not
Simos.
remember.
Watch for Simos because I sent him that link. So he
Okay, we'll watch for him. We will be carefully watch for Simos. There's Simos. And Scott's going to put him in the room because I'm not. I'm afraid to.
My mouse is. Hello, Samus. You are in the room.
Yeah.
Hello, room.
Hello, room.
Read the room.
Thank you
Read
for
the room.
throwing technological challenges at us.
No worries. No worries. It's just a copy paste. That's all it is.
Yes, but I'm so bad at it.
It's literally at the top, the SteamYard link. You know what I mean?
So, I had to call Mike right before we started because he had sent it to my telephone, my text message.
Oh, I
He
see.
got to send it to my email. So then we just went through all that rigmarole.
And then I told her, "Okay, boomer."
Yeah, well, you should do because you've got Discord, so you could have sent it to me yourself.
I have Discord, but it hurts me so much when I start it up. It just hurts me to start up Discord.
I do not care for Discord's layout.
It was a messy interface, so he
Very messy.
He won't use it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need something a little cleaner than that. And it's just like one time I was on Discord and I tried to get on and it was like some philosophy discussion thing. And I came in there and they were playing music and there were all these people yelling and screaming at each other and it sounded like I was in a bar. And I thought, go screw yourself, Discord.
That's Discord. You can have up to as many as you want. You can restrict the number of people as well, but you can have a lot of people in a room.
Yeah, what I did is I restricted the number of people down to 0.
That'll work. That'll work.
Yeah. I've been doing that ever since, and it's really been pretty good after that. I mean, it works really well.
Right, let me just get ready here.
Normal people check their email. Oh, Austin, we can hear you.
Oh, it sounds good now?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Just plug my headphones in and switch the audio over. And
He took the 3 pillows off the top of his laptop.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, what are we doing today? Boys and girls?
So y'all
Yeah,
were talking about how Jimbob got banned from live streams.
Yeah.
He's probably back by now. They probably let him pay a fine or something.
For the wrong reason. I mean, they could have banned him.
Sorry for him, actually.
I did, but they should have. No, I don't feel that sorry for him. They could have banned him for misogyny, for racism, for just a million things, right?
Yeah, rape apologia. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and they banned him for.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair enough.
For his eighth of a penis.
Yeah, they could have shown him for having a small penis. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure my channel gets censored too because I talk about vaccines and flat Earth and evolution denial and all that stuff. So, I mean, I also get annoyed by censorship.
I had a few videos taken down because we were making fun of anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
And they misinterpreted it. So I think it was you, Simos, you were involved, I think. But it was like a long time ago on SNATA. And we were doing a parody of an anti-vaxxer, right? And they fucking took the video down and I had no option for getting it back up. because they didn't tell me exactly what was wrong, other than that it was anti-science or some goddamn thing. I don't know what the hell they are.
Oh, it's easy to do a parody of an anti-vaxxer. Just act like you're a soldier in an active combat zone, and even though your superior officer told you to put on camouflage and get behind cover, you said, well, I can still get shot even if I put on camouflage and get behind cover, so I'm going to go skipping around the battlefield in bright dye-colored T-shirts screaming, lee, 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 lee.
Yeah. So I just got a news alert. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead. They killed him.
Yeah.
What?
They killed him.
I hate that we went to war, but I'm gonna tell you, I remember, and I'm sure all y'all too, when he kidnapped all of our people over there and held them for a year and tortured them and then held them long enough to make sure that Reagan beat Carter in the presidential election. And so, good riddance, Ayatollah.
When you say they, who?
I don't know.
Ayatollah, how many?
I mean, who killed him?
Oh, well.
Oh, we did. We did.
U.S. military.
Israel,
Okay.
Like us and Israel are like both. We're both like taking shots, but I'd say the United States is probably doing a whole lot of it.
The thing is that the problem is that we got Russia, and they're kind of hooked up in Iran, and we just lit a match in the Middle East, and the Middle East was just about to calm down for a few months, and we lit another match. So we'll see how this turns out. It might be some brilliance. We don't know.
Well, we did this once in Iran. This is how we ended up with the Ayatollah anyway, because we had the Shah. Remember?
Yeah.
So we've been like through this whole scenario with actually smarter people in charge than we have now, and we flubbed it up then. So
smarter than now, even.
Yes, like my cats are smarter than this administration, actually.
Yeah, my moustache is smarter than you in that administration.
But I'm guessing that the Nobel Peace Prize is going to be out of his reach because of things like I don't know. I'm just guessing
because he thinks he's bringing peace. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like those other 9 wars that he didn't start or stop. I don't know, but
yeah.
I like the comment that it was just up there. Did you see the comment, guys?
No.
So the comment he had on the screen was, why are these guys making fun of you if the way you think is just chemical processes?
Oh,
answer that, atheist.
I love that fish he's got up there.
Well, here's the thing. The things we call thoughts are created by electrical signals in the brain, which those are created by pumps in your brain moving sodium and potassium ions around. You take the sodium and potassium ions away, no more thoughts. You take away your presup, still thoughts. So which is the true ontology of the thoughts? Is it the chemicals or the presup? It's obviously the chemicals. Get wrecked, nerd. Anyways.
Yeah. What are these guys making fun of you if the way you are thinking are just chemical processes? Obviously, we shouldn't listen to anything he says because they're just chemical processes.
Yeah, it's just potassium and sodium ions lining up and making a mouth fart out stupid presup bullshit.
No, I would just ask this, thank you, the Fly Guy one, why if we're just making fun is just chemical processes, why are you worried about it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, me calling the stuff that comes out of your mouth diarrhea that would make your asshole jealous is just chemical processes. You have no reason to be upset. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and it's just, atoms in motion, so why do we even bother breathing? I mean, we should just quit breathing. Why do we do anything at all?
Yeah. If I don't have a gold leaf signed by God certificate that says I'm cosmically significant, what's the point of anything?
I know.
Yeah.
No point.
I would also say, look, to this, thank you, the Fly Guy one, your mother's is just chemical processes. Don't need to worry about that because that's just a chemical process saying that. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's what your mom said. It's just chemical processes. Let's see here. Where are we? Oh, okay. I want that. I want to see what the hell I'm in for before I play it, I guess. Well, oh, my goodness. What's happening? What is happening, boys and girls? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay. We'll play that part. Oh, no. I got the slow cursors.
So let's just get this straight. We're watching a video of Jimbob watching a video of us.
Yeah.
Criticizing.
And we're watching
criticizing him while we criticize him, criticizing us, criticizing him.
Yeah, it's getting pretty fucking deep.
Is this
the evolution proponent?
Is this someone I'm in? Because like I remember, Big Bad Mama sent me a message on my phone and said, "You're on Jimbob's stream and you were just talking about penises."
Yeah, we're all in this one. I think everybody present and accounted for, except for Leo.
Yeah.
We love talking about the penis, man.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
My magic stick. It's my magic stick. My magic stick.
Play a little spec.
Sorry, Mike.
Everyone in the chat is an Evo proponent. You can't talk about evolution without assuming information, meaningful transfer of information between cells, instruction packets for how to behave, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No. Can't do that. Nope. They're not instructional packets of how to behave. That's just not what's going on, all right? They're not telling the other particles how to behave, all right? That's not a thing.
He's so cute. He's so cute. Isn't he cute?
That's completely misunderstanding the other side.
FedEx. Comes FedEx.
I mean, he thinks that, cells are like sending information back and forth saying, hey, dude, we got to
would you mind
think about the penis. We got to think about the penis. It's all written down in those instruction packets sent between cells. These guys are so cute the way they think about biology.
They should learn to email.
Yeah. This guy.
Yeah, it's ironic. I think self-organizing systems are kind of easy to understand once you steel man them, but they don't seem capable of that.
Right.
Not a chance.
Yeah. I don't think that Jimbob's ever done a steel man before.
Yeah.
So I don't think, not successfully anyway. He's probably tried. But as you can see by that last statement of him starting out with the right thing and saying, just chemical processes, right? And then turning it into something which is prescriptive. And that he's got to do that with the language, right? And he doesn't realize that that's the Hume is all problem, right there. Well, he has no idea.
There's this whole thing about reduction that keeps coming up over and over again. Like reduction is when you talk about something and you talk about the chemistry behind what's happening, right? You reduce it, right? And what reduction to them is some kind of an ontology or something. It's like, this is the essential nature that you have to, and once you reduce something to chemicals, you can't think anymore on any other level about the thing, right? Like once I realized my car is just iron molecules and chemical or iron atoms, I can't drive it anymore because it's just iron atoms, right?
Has no meaning.
So, I mean,
right? Yeah.
Reduction is about explanation, about digging down and tearing something apart and reducing it to whatever we can figure out as the primary mover. Like you might reduce your car to basically what your pistons are doing or whatever, but that doesn't mean you can't drive your car because it's just all chemical motion in the pistons, right? So I can't drive my car. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, it's a misunderstanding of reduction, and these guys do it all. In fact, they do it with every word in the English language. They seem to completely misunderstand what words mean and how words work. How the language works. Anyway,
yeah,
I don't know.
Certainly with regard to explanation, right?
Yeah.
They often. I mean, the most common problem that I see, especially with Jimbob, is assigning. Well, I don't want to use the philosophical word for it, but assigning a purpose-driven explanation as opposed to a naturalistic explanation. And they just have to try and confuse the two of them. Otherwise, their worldview doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
Right.
Function. Like he struggles with the separating purpose and function.
Yes.
And it's weird. They kind of think this way. I mean, it's like they think this is how the world works, sort of. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I get it, because it's as Peter Singer says, and shout out to Dave, right? I'm using Peter Singer because I miss you so much. Lazy minds. Lazy minds.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, by the way, guys.
It's easy to use a purpose-driven explanation. It's not so easy to think of the naturalistic explanation because you have to do some work. Go ahead, Mike.
We got a bunch of people in the chat, like Icarus was taken, and Laborious Cretan, Tilting Windmill, Ryan Murphy. Let me see what else I got here.
Beam me up, Bob.
Skeptic Philosophy. Scott Duke is here. Who the hell let him in?
Out. He's an asshole.
Beam me up, Bob is in there. Beam me up, Bob.
Okay, yeah, Beam me up, Bob. Zerovok. Who else we got here? Chatting. That's it. Skyworks 6009. Evening Skyworks.
Top Dog.
Top Dog? We're Top Dog.
Yeah, Top Dog.
Oh, there's Top Dog. He's never gonna. He probably wants us to forget about that. I don't know, but you know,
it's never going to be forgotten just because Rebecca said it, and she's like so innocent, right?
And
I mean, you know that she didn't say it on purpose, right? You absolutely know that that's a mistake.
Yeah,
that's why, and that's what makes it so funny.
I have no idea how to say that one guy's name or whoever it is. It starts with an X.
Zerovok, I think it is. Zerovok, that's how I would say it. I don't know. Am I wrong, Zerovok?
Zerovok, something like that.
Yeah. Y'all did really well on that, actually.
Let's see here. Where am I at? 124? What's happening at 124?
In Skyworks.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm going ahead and.
I just want to say, Jimbob, thank you for once again giving us atheists the opportunity to come together and be brainy with each other. It is very healing. It's healing from all the mindfuckery bullshit your mind blender of a religion did to us. So even though we completely disagree with you on everything, we appreciate that. So thank you.
I really have to blame the dope, probably not the religion.
Okay.
I'm going to tell everybody I can that Jimbob helped me to reaffirm my atheism.
Yeah, right.
We used to say that about G-Man. I once put in a I once put a vote. I went into a room full of atheists and said, who do you think is the most persuasive Christian in the Great Debate community? And they all went, and I said, okay, so now I'm going to go for atheists, but bear in mind, if people don't vote for G-Man, then you shouldn't be voting.
Did they vote for you, Samos?
No, everybody voted for G-Man as being the most influential atheist because he's converted more people to atheism than anybody else.
Yeah, I bet Kent Hovind has converted a lot of people to atheism.
There you go.
Thank you, Tilting Windmill. I was talking to Jimbob about the liver, right? And then he says, yeah, but what came before the liver? And it's like, okay, you asked how the liver evolved, and now you want to know how the thing that basically was there before the liver evolved. And then if I tell him, okay, that's, maybe a yolk sac or a swelling in your intestine, he's going to say, well, how did the intestine get there? And we're going to go all the way back. So he keeps moving his goalposts. So,
and there's an answer for it, too. There's abiogenesis and then protocells. And the protocells evolve into more complex multicellular organisms. Yeah. And then those evolve into a whole wide variety of phyla through adaptive radiation in three main categories: animals, fungi, and plants. And the microorganisms keep evolving in their main categories. It's really not that hard to understand. once you actually put in the work. And you're not like, when you put in the work into trying to understand it, not putting work into only understanding enough about the subject matter to keep your belief that it's wrong and that it's a lie and that biology is too complex for anything to have evolved.
Here's the point. Here's the point.
I'm sorry. You got 56,000 years though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the point. They'll ask you how something evolved, and then when you sit down and you start actually seriously trying to answer that question, they will move the goalpost on you back, and they won't listen to a thing you said. And then they will say later on, oh, they don't even know how it evolved. They don't even know how this stuff happened, or they won't answer the questions. And so they accuse us of intellectual dishonesty because they won't shut the fuck up long enough to listen.
It's called wasting your time.
And they're not really curious about the answer to the question they're asking. What they're really asking is my soul significant? Are you telling me my soul is not significant? Then fuck you. I don't give a shit. No matter what you say, I'm not going to believe it.
That's why when people say there's no, that they do the transitional fossil thing, because I'm not a biologist, I don't have to answer that seriously. So I just say, yeah, look, if you go and dig your father or mother up, that's a transitional fossil. And then they can't say, well, what's in between my mother and my father and me? And they take that out of the argument straight away.
You have to talk to them about that. That's what you need to tell them.
Yeah.
Oh, he makes, I think it's in a different video, he makes a really good comment about paternity tests. Yeah, it's in the modern day debate thing where he talks about paternity tests, and he says, we'll play it later, but anyway, it's just like they don't even understand paternity tests and DNA tests and how you can determine common ancestry, because they'll say, oh, you have to have the father and you have to have the kid. No, you don't. You don't fucking do that. Ask the BTK killer if that's how it works, because they didn't have his DNA.
That's right. They found a lot of people. They found a lot of killers using like that 23andMe or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're planning on killing somebody or don't go get a DNA 23andMe.
Don't fall for 23andMe.
They solved a bunch of cold cases.
Thanks, Robin. That's really useful for me.
That is useful for us.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
He's up on the roof with
or send somebody else's DNA in, and like trick them, I guess, or something.
Oh, that's a good idea. Mislabel it.
Send a fish in.
Yeah. Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, with somebody else's name on it. Somebody you don't like. Jimbob.
I find more people that I don't like than Jimbob. Actually, like he would not be at the top of my list of people if I was doing that to him.
If what you're asking for in a transitional fossil is a fossil that shows change, then your mom's fossil probably won't be enough. But we have those in the human array of species in plentitude. There's Homo naledi, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo denisovans, Homo ergaster. We have lots of those transitional species. They just tend to say, oh, those are either all humans or those are all chimpanzees that have like Down syndrome or, they're something like that. They're chimpanzees. They just look different because, giantism or something.
Beam me up, Bob. Your mum's fossil.
They want to see a crocoduck. That's what they're asking for.
Yeah, basically. And we have a couple of those. We have Archaeopteryx, which is like a theropod, half theropod dinosaur, half modern bird. It's got a beak, but it's also got teeth. It's got claws. It's got unfused hip bones. It's got a tail like a lizard, but feathers like a bird.
And there's always
another great example too. It's got all the traits of a Sarkiopterygian lobe-finned fish, right? But it's also got most of the traits of a land tetrapod. It's got the neck bones. My goodness.
Maybe we'll go there next. Apes, not apes, and sets. So he doesn't understand sets, and I mentioned that in one of the comments.
Yeah. And here you have this objective claim of a category called apes, right?
Yeah.
We're apes, right? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Apes came from not apes, though, right? According to you?
Apes came
from not apes. So are we those things too?
An infant scream that something must not be true because they don't like it?
Imagine
that's very much ape behavior. That's primate behavior. That's conditional behavior, like pre-Piaget's like development stages behavior, like little baby behavior, like what you do every day, Jimbob. This can't be true because I don't like it. This can't be true because it means my brain's purposeless and me no like you. Like, come on.
Came from not apes, though, right? According to you.
Not apes.
So are we those things too?
Yes.
If we're apes, under your view, we actually apes came from something that aren't apes.
Now he's getting it. Now he's getting it. It's like
I love it when they accidentally give the right answer.
Right.
I know, yeah.
It always makes me laugh.
It was so cute. Do we go? Are we those things too? Yeah, we fucking are.
Well done. Well done. You have a vertebrate. Yes. Well done.
Man, we really do have a lot of great people in the chat today. Hey, Fred. Hey, Bree. Hey, Moondog.
Hi, Bree.
Hey, Bree. Nice to see you. So
many great people.
Moondog 5,000, 2,000. It's kind of scary. Okay. Yeah, this was cute.
Are we also that other thing?
Yeah.
How many things are we?
Lots of things.
Oh gosh, we're eukaryotic, opisthocont, bilateral, hominid, mammals, tetrapods. We're craniotes. We're jawed mammals. So
dude, we're life. We're life, dude.
Yeah,
get in that. We're all life.
Look at the incredulous look on his face.
Yeah, and we've evolved into all of those categories, except we'll never evolve out of the living thing category. So it's true simultaneously as a trick of us describing things with our imperfect human language that we both change categories and don't change categories. So get that through your skull too, bud.
Yeah, and we're also a little bit dumb and maybe even a little bit ugly on the side.
Right. Yeah. But we can be right occasionally, especially when we make use of good tools like objective measurements and peer review and falsifiable hypotheses and curiosity and intellectual humility. Ugh.
And one thing we aren't is we're not chimps.
Yeah.
We will never be chimps. We didn't come from chimps.
Correct.
Chimps and us came from something else.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand this part. That's why I tried to make it very clear, and I would like everybody to adopt this thinking, because everybody should think like me if they want to be right anyway. A clade is a hypothesis. So what we do is we take chimps and us, and we find out that we're extremely close together genetically. And the hypothesis is that there was something X that we both came from, basically, long time ago. Long time ago, far away, in a galaxy far away. He loves when we do Star Wars. And that's what we came from. That is a hypothesis, right? And that can be falsified. Yeah. And so far, we haven't falsified it at all. So far, every time I look at the chimp genes, I find 99.2 or better similarity between the genes and us.
So. Don't leave out the bonobos.
Yeah, and he's going to torch you for daring to say that you were right. Jimbob, it just means that we have a way higher probability of being right than your evolution denial worldview does. And we can say that with statistical certainty thanks to something called endogenous retroviruses. And I'll cover that at length probably elsewhere.
What do we got here?
Or we can talk about it specifically.
Tilting Windmill said that.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
And I've got on a Grateful Dead.
Okay, hang on a second here.
Can you see it?
How do I make you big? How do I make you big? I'm not sure how to make you big. I can't make you big.
Made you big.
You have to swap.
Made me big. I don't know how to make you big.
Swap position with yourself. Just drag her box to where you are.
Yeah, I could do that. Okay, there you go.
Okay, well, there you go.
There we go. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It looks satanic. I wonder if we're promoting Satan on this stream.
That looks satanic. Grateful Dead, like.
Well, I don't know.
Blue and yellow and red.
Well, obviously, you're grateful to be dead because that means you're no longer under the rule of our loving Christian God that everybody knows is the truth in their heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, excuse me.
Without a porpoise, can't go through life without a porpoise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would dolphinately be sad.
Oh, nice, nice.
Oh,
I love it. Good punning.
Okay, dad joke.
Everybody had good pun that day.
For sharks.
Yep. Not just chemicals, but structure also. Brain specialization and mapping, brain damage types and split range, biological algorithmic set from biochemistry. Yeah. The thing is, when you reduce something to chemicals, right, you're at one level, but nobody's going to boil down a human and separate all the different elements, right? And you got a chunk of carbon, you got some nitrogen, you got some oxygen. There are basically, the chemicals are in a certain place and in a certain relation, and then of course, molecules become an entirely different thing entirely. When you put a bunch of atoms together, you end up with an entirely different kind of thing. That's called a molecule. You put those molecules together and you might end up with a membrane, and that's an entirely different kind of thing than just fucking carbon and oxygen and phosphorus and hydrogen.
Exactly.
And
you can get things that are different in nature. You can take two toxic things and put them together and get something like sodium chloride. Sodium is explosive. It would burn you if it touched you. It'd melt your skin right off. Chlorine is a poisonous gas. But if you put them together, you get sodium chloride, table salt, an important nutrient that we all need to survive.
I call it vitamin S.
Yeah.
I put it on everything. When I was a young man, I had 1 pound or 2 pounds of pure sodium metal, and I had it in a jar of kerosene. I had a bit of a lab when I was young, and it was really cool because it looked like it was a crusty white thing. Yeah, right? Because that was sodium hydroxide on the outside.
Yeah,
and then you take it out and we would cut it, and it's a silvery, waxy metal. So we got really drunk and we were partying one night. We got a hold of my sodium and we were taking chunks of it and throwing it in the middle pond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just
it's violent reaction. Kaboom!
Just blows up. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole reason you have to keep it in that kerosene is because it's so reactive, and like you said, it forms that oxidative surface. If you held it in your hand, it would melt right through your skin because
it would
so
fuck
reactive.
your hand up really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and that's true of the entire category of alkali metals, group 1 on the periodic table. They're all very reactive because they have a single electron in their outer valence shells, which makes them highly reactive. And in fact, francium is so reactive, you can't even get enough of it to be visible with the naked eye. We've never actually seen what francium looks like in any kind of amount, because if you ever got enough of it to be visible with the eye, the radiation would cook it instantly and it evaporate. So at best, we can theorize that things like thorite have a couple of atoms of francium in them, but we've never actually seen francium.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So my Auntie Frances, who lived at 40 over, when we were exploding the sodium, she called the cops on us.
Yeah, sodium's dangerous.
Fucking booms. It was unbelievable. I think they called Child Protective Services too. I don't know if my daughter was home at the time, but they might have. I'm not sure.
We did that.
They called them a lot on us, huh?
We did that experiment in school chemistry to see how reactive the first few levels of those are. Yeah. But a very small piece, and the guy showed how much put one little bit in, and then it went boom.
Oh shit!
That's crazy.
The rabid atheist.
He's lucky no one got hurt.
Oh my god!
What's that bad?
Yeah, the thing is that it blows out this sodium hydroxide vapor, you know, and it's really fucking caustic. If you breathe it in, it'll fry your lungs in a second. So no, he shouldn't have done that. But I mean, it's still kind of hilarious. I don't know. I think it's... Anyway, sorry, girls.
Well, that's secondary to the actual exothermic explosion that sodium
that too
produces.
Melted sodium.
Yeah, that would have been much worse to get hit by.
That could be worse. Fortunately, no one got hurt. What do we got here? Is
the mechanism of natural selection. So,
and no species of organism
that's you talking.
Is evolving in a vacuum. Every species has an ecology, and their ecological relationships have a massive impact on their evolution.
Look at his eyes.
You want to put it on the screen? Mate? It's not
wild. Anymore. Yeah.
You're the only one watching it. No, I can't see his eyes. I'm not sure I want to.
I know everybody in chat needs to see Jimbob. Yeah.
Oh, let me go back to this. Okay, I'm getting... Okay. His face. Well, he's listening to this.
Evolution. That's why there's 20,000 different species of bees that are...
Yeah. So you keep going back, right? And what category is that in?
Oh, Jesus
right?
Christ.
Keep going back.
Keep going back.
Oh, he's talking to Big Bad Mama there.
What the fuck does he think evolution is?
I mean, I don't know.
Yes, you carry you do go back to Archaea. And Archaea goes back to these simple replicators, this RNA and protein structure that probably took shelter inside of a lipid vesicle. And that goes back to just geological chemicals on a planet that's still cooling. And that goes back to mass that got cycled around through universal expansion, which goes back to an excitation of the state of the universal quantum field. It's all a thermodynamic inevitability.
110. Where the hell am I at? Where am I?
This all happens just through the way the laws of energy transfer and transformation works. We happen to be a part of that mass that found a way to exploit entropy in such a way that it gave rise to masses of atoms and chemicals with enough processing power to ask where that specific set of atoms and chemicals came from.
I'm trying to find...
I know that's probably not as fanciful and as enjoyable as your fantasy where you're cosmically significant, but it has the advantage of being true. And unfortunately, you know, I guess we're not like cosmically significant. We're just this tiny little insignificant speck in this infinite cosmos. But we can find significance in each other. We can find significance in the fact that this is the only life we get. This is our only chance to be conscious as a part of the universe experiencing itself, and to enjoy that in what ways we can. And I think that our way of enjoying that is slightly better because it doesn't involve lying to people and sticking their brains into mindfuckery blenders. Instead, we get to be honest with them. We get to be humble without it being insulting. But you know, I guess it comes down to preference, and there's definitely socioeconomic factors involved. Like Jimbob said, he makes his living on this, so that's rough, man.
I think I got one for you, Austin. Let's see here. Let me see.
Most people's league, but the assumption under chemistry is the entailments is still the same. This pokes fun at their epistemology, which is really fun to do because from their view, if everything's chemically and neurologically determined, you know, the old Plantinga argument is that evolution doesn't select for truth. It's not guided for truth. It's guided for survival. And you can survive believing false things. And so if everything's chemically determined, there's no access to true beliefs or false beliefs. JTB is gone from there.
No, that does not follow.
No,
it's
it doesn't follow that just because some things you believe are true and some things you believe are false, therefore nothing you believe must be true.
Well,
that simply doesn't follow. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Believing some false things is a bonus to survival, right? The difference is that we understand that we have that cognition of that we do sometimes believe false things for our best interest, like you do, Jimbob, right?
Yeah.
You in fact believe some things which give you peace of mind, which means you don't have to wrestle with some kind of dysphoria in your head, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I explain the belief in supernatural beings. I don't know how you do. You don't have an explanation. It's just a presupposition, which is circular reasoning. So all you're doing is exactly the same thing, right? But just putting it a layer back, right? And just saying, oh, well, I've got this explanation, which I think allows me to think that I actually have consistent beliefs. And you don't, right? You don't. It's that simple.
In evolutionary science, cognitive psychology, there's something called the cognitive social model of religion. And an aspect of that is something called hyperactive agency detection. The idea that our brains are randomly clutched together mutations or random mutations clutched together by non-random natural selection. And one of those things is how you react to the unknown. Do you perceive the unknown as a threat without more information, or you perceive it as safe without more information? And if you perceive it as a threat, if you run away from a bush that's rattling without knowing what's in the bush, you're probably going to survive it most of the time if you just don't investigate at all. If you assume it's dangerous and vacate, as opposed to if you check. And sometimes it'll be something harmless, like a rabbit or a frog, but other times it will be something dangerous, like a leopard or a rattlesnake. And in that way, evolution explains how our brains evolved to believe in a God that's not there, and why we need to use tools like science and a more refined epistemology, a more rigorous need for objective empirical evidence, measurement, and math that can be repeated. The
Plantinga argument basically is that if it's just survival, then it doesn't necessarily have to be true.
Yeah,
which is a real misunderstanding of both biology and philosophy. For biology, okay, if an organism were brittlely set up so that every time something happened, it would react in a certain way. Like every time it saw a blue bunny playing with a hula hoop, it ran away. And what it was actually seeing is a lion, right? So then if the lion evolved slightly, changed shape slightly, or another predator came up, then he wouldn't run away. So anyway, if we didn't arrive at truth through our senses, we would be brittle, and we would only work with a certain environment and a certain set of things happening. So anyway, so an organism does have to respond in a very complex manner, and that complexity is where truth falls out of. So it has to have a true idea of what's really going on in the environment.
Also to say this, that this is why the scientific method was developed, right? Is to get closer and closer to what is true about objective reality, right?
Yeah.
And because we've done that, right? It's this it's the truth of evolution and what it does, and how we manipulate it to make our drugs, which, funnily enough, you rely on when you get ill.
Yeah.
You don't rely on praying. You go to a hospital and they prescribe you drugs. Those drugs have been developed through the scientific method, right?
Yeah.
So actually the truth, right, of how to cure yourself from any particular illness which you may get is done through the scientific method, and specifically through the lens of evolution. So you're just being a hypocrite by saying what you're saying, that this is how how wrong we are, right?
Yeah.
In reality, that's not how you act, right? You may believe you're right, right? You may believe that evolution is just this process which doesn't only guides towards survivability, but in fact, through the lens of that, using the scientific method, we get to the truth of which drugs actually cure diseases that that you fail to. So
it's better than a random ass guess. Exactly.
And by any sense of the imagination, you rely on the truth of science. That's it. Full stop. So you're just being a hypocrite by saying
I bet he flies in airplanes and stuff.
You're just being a hypocrite by saying this argument of plantingers.
Evolution works by just producing,
which is demonstrably false.
Yeah.
Okay, now go ahead.
Evolution works by producing things that are just good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's a certain threshold, a mathematical fitness value, where if an organism's traits put it over that fitness value, it's going to reproduce faster than other factors can eliminate it. And one of those factors is how good that organism's brain is at entertaining the highest probability set of propositions. If you are perfect at that, you're going to find food where you expect to find food 100% of the time. You're going to avoid predators in a way you expect will help you avoid predators 100% of the time. So evolution can be pressed towards that direction, and it has been pressed that way with humans. There are caloric limits to how good you can get at detecting the highest probability set of propositions, because the brain is a very taxing organ. It's only about 2 to 3% of our mass, but it uses 20% of our electrolytes and calories. And so in that way, there are limits to how truth apt our brains can be. But they're good enough to figure out that we need tools, and they're good enough to create some of those tools, which have borne results that substantiate the axiological value of the entire system. Like Simo said, we can prescribe drugs, and we can be fairly confident the drugs we prescribe aren't going to kill you if we have a good idea of your medical history, and there's a good chance that they'll do for you what we think they will do.
Any idea and just to make the point again, right? Just to make the point again, that's what Christians go to when they get ill. They don't go, oh, actually, I'm not going to go to a hospital because that's very expensive. What I'm going to do is go to my church. That is not what happens when you get desperately ill. You go and you take the drugs that are prescribed you by somebody who's studied it and is an expert in that particular field, a scientist or a doctor, as is commonly known. The second point to make is that, no, I'm afraid, AI flyer, whatever you are. No, it's not. It's not the fact that science presupposes things, right? The science project is a method by all means. It has some presuppositions for sure, but it's not that we have to presuppose them to be true. We don't have to presuppose them to be true. We could presuppose them to be false and test them. That's what makes the difference. Right? They have an explanation which goes beyond the presupposition, right? So we can see the reliable usage of the particular formulas or things that we're supposing are true, right? The particular scientific ideas that are true, and then we can test those using predictions, right? And when we do that, we find out which ones are false. And once we find out which ones are false, we throw them away. Okay, so it's not that we're just presupposing them to be true. That is not the fact. We don't have to presuppose that some of these things are true in order to get results and then use science in a profligative way in order to find things which really work. And all you're doing by saying, oh, they're just presuppositions is just trying to use the God argument as if it's science. The two are not. They're not even similar. You don't have to have faith in science.
When did we do this? If you're going to try and equate fideism with empiricism, you're just a joke, because they're not even close to one another. And I can explicitly outline and define and justify all of the presuppositions I'm using in the scientific method way better than you can outline and justify yours. And those presuppositions are, I'm going to assume the external world is real. I'm going to assume that nature is uniform, that bullets wouldn't fire more slowly in the past without some justification for why that is, that their mass increased or something. I'm going to assume that my senses and reason are just good enough to put together something that's moderately accurate about the world. And I'm going to assume methodological naturalism. I'm not going to try and put handcuffs on a ghost in a murder investigation. And like I said, I can explicitly define all those and justify them, and I just did fairly quickly. And I think most people actually agree with those presuppositions in every moment of their life, that other than the moments when they're defending a deity that they can't justify with evidence.
I think he may be more hopeless than Jimbob, actually.
Yeah, well, he said here there is no formal proof that is always true of all aspects of reality. There's your problem right there. If you think that you are going to find some argument, some deductive argument that's necessarily true of all aspects of reality, then you simply are unaware that you're a human being.
Yes.
Wow, it's hard to keep up with chat here. Where the hell are we? Without full knowledge, you cannot make scientific and definitive. Okay, what the fuck? What do you mean without full knowledge, you cannot make claims? I can claim that
solipsism.
Fire will burn your finger.
The search for knowledge. How can you search for knowledge if you have to have full knowledge in order to search for knowledge?
We can do whatever we want, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy as well. If he were to put that claim on himself and his idea of God, that means he would have to be God in order to know that God exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done. Congratulations.
Dude, what if you're just
hang on. Well done. Now you're an agnostic. Join the club.
Yeah. What if you're just a brain in a vat, bro? Well, I hope somebody gives your vat a good shake, because your brain imagines typing on a computer to atheists that you're annoying way too much.
Yeah. Ignore.
Okay. To conclude there is no God or a God, you would need to understand that full knowledge. You would have to have full knowledge of everything to conclude. For me to conclude that there are no unicorns, I would have to visit every jungle on Earth and make damn sure there are no unicorns. So what? We haven't found a unicorn. We haven't had any evidence for a unicorn. So why should we believe in unicorns? So you don't need full knowledge to not believe in something like blue bunnies. I don't know. I've never seen a blue bunny. Have you seen a blue bunny? I guess
But you could say the same about anything, right? And
blue
exactly.
Blue Bunny is an excellent brand of ice cream, Mike.
Yes.
You would love Blue Bunny.
Yes, God.
Also, what is the definition of God? Right? If you describe a God as having impossible or contradictory properties, then I'm pretty certain that God doesn't exist.
Go back to the previous one real quick.
So it's crazy that you would even say something like that in such a bland way without any context.
Wow.
No, I don't agree with this argument, AI Flyer. To conclude there is no God or a God, you can imagine possible universes, and in those universes, you get to decide whether there is or isn't a God, because it's in your imagination, and then you compare those universes to our universe. For instance, I can imagine a universe in which it's not only rational to believe in God, it would be irrational or insane not to believe in God. And that would be the universe in which every constellation in the sky, every bacteria, every object, my chairs, my couch, every person on their forehead said in every language, made by God. In that universe, it would be irrational not to believe in God. There's evidence of it everywhere, and you can't deny it. In this universe, if something says made by God on it, it's only because a human made it that way. So through logic, I think it's perfectly reasonable to conclude there is no God.
Yeah. A man, bear, pig in the sky, or in another dimension.
Presupposition reason for coming to the conclusion that there has to be a God is just bullshit. So don't give us something that's not bullshit, and maybe we'll consider it. But with what I know, with what I've been presented with, when what I've been asked to swallow by religious people, there's just no reason to conclude that there's a God.
I don't think that's all he knows is bullshit. That's all he knows is bullshit. That's all I've read. It's bullshit. Like he said by God that there was no scientific proof for atheism.
Well, congratulations. You know, under one definition of atheism, that's absolutely true. Right?
And then the other definition, it's absolutely irrelevant. Just.
Okay, I can imagine there is no God, or there is, and I could be wrong, to claim a definite. I have the burden of proof. Yes. And you have not met that burden of proof with me. That's why I've always been an atheist and still am.
In my little thought experiment, the burden of proof, show me a constellation that says made by God. There isn't one.
Well, maybe.
Yep.
But, okay,
I think that's a good one, Simos, because theoretically the universe is so massive, there should be, just by chance, at least a couple of constellations that say made by God. But there's not one.
There might be. There's a thing called the Raven paradox, right?
Well, it depends on where you're standing, what a constellation looks like, right?
Maybe God is black holes.
All things.
Black holes.
Oh, God, there's a research. We could keep the creationists busy, because if you were to stand in the right place, you could probably get it to write out there is a God. I mean, you know, if you moved all through the universe, eventually there would be a constellation that says, I'm God. You know, they could find that, right? Because it depends on your perspective when you look at a constellation. If you're not on this planet, the constellation is going to look different in another part of the universe.
Depends on if you're flat Earth or not. Like if they're glowers.
I think it's a good argument too, because according to most of the theologies of theists who are talking to us, God wants us to know he exists. So in a universe where God wants us to know he exists, it definitely should look like the made by God stamped on everything universe. But he didn't make that universe, and that is really incongruent with the God who wants us to know he exists.
If God wanted you to know he existed, that would be like giving you the golden ticket, like in every candy bar.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's not going to do that. He wants you to work. He wants you to work for it by being like in a skeptical, natural universe, and you believe anyway, right? Otherwise, you don't get the golden ticket. So God ain't going to do that. So he's a prick.
I think if he wanted us to know existed, he would exist.
Yeah.
I think. I think also, just to point this out, that argument that you were giving there, Austin, the divine hiddenness argument. There are much more sophisticated versions of it, where there is such a thing as a non-resistant unbeliever, and if there should be none of those ever found, if God really existed, or at least the God of the Bible existed, a God that wants to have some kind of relationship with you, then there should never be anybody who wants to have a relationship with God but can't.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't believe. So, and the fact you can find people that want to be religious but just find themselves unconvinced, and there are many of them, agnostics for one set, then that shows that the God of the Bible, or the God that an agent that wants to have a relationship with his special creatures, just doesn't exist. So again, but I agree with what A. Flyer was saying, in that, maybe in scientific terms, there's not going to be an argument against this unfalsifiable God. That's because one of the points about science is that it relies on falsifiability. So, of course, if you make your God unfalsifiable, there's not going to be a scientific answer against it. But then that just moves it into the point about deductive arguments. And if you make an unfalsifiable God, then there is a deductive argument that goes along the lines of, we would expect there to be some kind of evidence. We would expect there to be some kind of interaction with a God and the universe. And if there is none, then it's more rational to not believe in a God than it is to believe in a God.
That's a great scientific point, and there's a good philosophical and epistemological point in that unfalsifiable claims, even when they're true, they're uninformative. So I can say everything in the universe was formed naturally. How did the stars form? Naturally. How was I born? Naturally. How did my parents meet each other? Naturally. But it tells you practically nothing about how it actually happened, even though it happens to be true.
Yeah, and who claimed that we were using science to prove God didn't exist? We're talking about evolution.
A1 Flyer seems to have sat in a multiverse where we did. So
yeah, I guess so.
In a possible world, we sat there and said it, but not in this world.
But like I said, right? He said it's silly to claim that God or no God exists. Well, depends on the definition of God. If you make a definition of God which is subject to scientific investigation, then we can scientifically investigate whether that God actually exists, because that leads to expectations. If you think that the God you defining has some scripture which has been given to humankind, that scripture can generate expectations which we can test, right? So
also we were making
either way around, you didn't define the question right in the first place, and we've just given you multiple different versions of God for which we have arguments against.
The show wasn't about God; it was about Jimbob, actually. So we weren't.
Yeah. Well, same difference.
We weren't even debunking God.
Same difference.
We were talking about an adult with a third grade understanding of biology. So Jimbob went out and somehow he went out to ChatGPT and he started reading about the vestibular system, for balance and all of that. And he's going on about that too. So it's like the first thing he's ever read. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember that. He talked about how,
it's hard reading. It's confusing. So he's saying it can't be true. It can't be right because I don't understand it. He's doing total argument from incredulity.
It's even funnier than that, Scott. He said he finally started looking at biology after arguing about how evolution is false. For years, he finally started looking at the subject matter.
And he's still getting it wrong.
Yep.
You ever find your cat when they're in their really favorite hiding place and you find them? Like I found my cat inside there's a sliding closet that I never opened, and there was a towel shelf in there. And I found my cat, and my cat was really mad at me. They get really mad at when you find them.
Hey, Mike, I shut mine up in my closet. I have a little closet, and they'll run in there as soon as I open the door. And one snuck in there, and I was gone for like 8 hours. And I come home, and I
get out.
Yeah, she came running out, and like when she heard me in the house, she going rah, rah, rah. You know,
yeah, they get really mad.
Yeah, she was pissed.
Pretty cool.
She shouldn't run.
I think our friend, what was his name? A Flyer,
AI Flyer, yeah.
AL Flyer.
Did he fly away?
AI, yeah, I think it was supposed to be.
I don't know if he was an AI Flyer. Okay,
he might have been the same flyer guy that was on the thing.
He got his ass kicked, so he left.
I'll fly away.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit on this question that Benghazi asked. What hard science have you presented? Notice for all the comments about no scientific proof, you're not following the scientific method, there's no peer review, where you can conclude God doesn't exist. He presented no hard data. He doesn't have hard data.
I think he's
talks about hard data.
I think he's come from Jimbob's crowd, and they're philosopher bros, really.
Yeah.
They pretend they are. That's why I keep giving philosophy answers to him. There's no point. There's no point in going down the science route with somebody who just doesn't want to talk science. So you've always got to go down to you've got to go down to presuppositions.
He wasn't doing philosophy either, so
I didn't see much philosophy. No. First thing you do in philosophy is define your terms.
Okay, I think we were on this Plantinga argument. I'm not
Most
sure.
people's league, but the assumption under chemistry is the entailments is still the same.
Have I played this?
This pokes fun at their epistemology, which is really fun to do because from their view, if everything's chemically and neurologically determined, the old Plantinga argument is that evolution doesn't select for truth. It's not guided for truth. It's guided for survival, and you can survive believing false things.
This is what set us off. This is what set us off on down the line of, oh, look, Jimbob, you rely on medicine, right? You don't go to church to get well. You go and get medicine. So
we did already address this, but I do want to say you can survive believing certain false things. You can't survive believing false things in general. Like if you believe that you can eat toxic substances and not be harmed by it, or even just inedible substances and not be harmed by it, you can absolutely not survive believing that, because you're going to eat things that don't nourish you, and you're going to starve, and you're going to put things into your system that can't be removed through natural digestion. You're going to get occlusions. You're going to die. So you can survive believing certain false things. Like if I believe that the color red is actually the color yellow or something like that. I don't know. There's all kinds of false things you could survive believing, but there are certain false things that if you believe, they're probably going to negatively impact your survival and fitness.
Like for instance, my belief that that truck parked in the parking lot is sitting still is very important. I better get that right, because if it's false, if that's a false belief, I'm going to get run over.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to stop for me, because nobody gives a shit in this parking lot. So
nope, Jimbob isn't live again, so I think he'll go live as soon as he gets his credentials back. I don't know what the process is. Like I've reached out to YouTube to try to get my, like they banned a bunch of shit during the whole vax thing, and I couldn't reason with them. There's no reasoning with them. Nobody ever responds to you.
Yeah. Also, just to say, believing true things about the real world. In other words, having a map, a mental internal map of the real world, which is accurate, is a very good way to survive. It turns out.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Big thing about precept, you can use it to prove anything, right? You could put anything in that place and say, that thing is responsible for logic and the rules of the universe and the Big Bang and all that. And so
you can't, not in philosophy. Precepts are quite strict. There's quite a strict definition of what a precept is, a presupposition, right? And it's not God. God is not one of them. Let me just say that.
Like the laws of logic, maybe.
Yeah. Well, uniformity of nature, remembering that you can remember, or the reliability of the mind. There's lots of them, right? But what they aren't are things which are subject to some kind of reasoning.
Who has a Firebird? Who has a 1967 Pontiac Firebird? Oh, I'd like one of those. I always wanted a Firebird.
I'd like to have about an 85 or 83 or something like that.
I had a lot of Thunderbirds. I like Thunderbirds.
Did you say Thunderbird or Firebird?
I wanted a Firebird, but I had a lot of Thunderbirds.
I like the Smoking the Bandit Firebird. Like the.
Oh yeah. Firebirds are. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, I'm going to go forward from here a little bit. There's something coming up, I think.
Everything's chemically determined. There's no access to true beliefs or false beliefs. JTB is gone from their view completely.
Right.
Okay. Has he not heard of?
You should know that everything a living thing is, and everything a living thing.
Has he not heard of Gettier problems? Right. I mean, JTB went a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just what we use because it's a convenient way to talk about reality. But in actual fact, GTB is just a rough approximation because it can be disproven just by Gettier problems alone.
I don't think Jimbob has enough RAM to justify reality.
RAM, love it, Scott.
He's going to pick on Austin here, so we want to hear this part.
You should know that everything a living thing is and everything a living thing does can be reduced to chemistry.
Okay, cool. He just see what I'm saying? These people step in their own feces, right? They devour their own feculence. Listen to that statement. Like, this is exactly why I kill them so badly in these debates when this comes up. Listen to this statement.
Oh my God.
His league. Yeah.
I just think it's you should know that everything a living thing is and everything a living thing does can be reduced to chemistry.
Right there. Austin Sims.
I love the way he cut you off as well. I love the way he cut you off there.
That means everything you believe, Austin Sims, and everything that's a belief held on this dumbass panel.
I'm trying to. My mouse is a little bit delayed, so okay, go ahead.
Notice how he cut Austin off there, because I think Austin's about to say, "In my opinion."
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I know. I guarantee it. You're not that. You're not that so much of a generalization. You put caveats in where there's caveats there to put it. I can assure you. And you're going to say, "In my opinion."
I think I was going to go on to give some examples of how your feeling of hunger is caused by chemistry. All of your emotions are caused by chemistry. Really,
what do they do when you're trying to lose weight and you're hungry all the time? They give you chemicals to subdue your hunger.
Right.
Chemicals.
What? There's a fantastic.
Or you know what? Right? No, I think I remember what I was going to do. I went on to say, show me something that a living thing does that isn't chemistry, and you'll have a point against my belief. But nobody's ever been able to show me something a living thing does that isn't chemistry.
Sure. I'm not sure that's the best philosophical argument I've ever heard, but okay. But I think one philosophical argument which you could make in this case is to say, look, we know that humans come about through procreation, right? And we know the system by which that works, right? That's eggs and sperm. Eggs and sperms are definitely chemicals.
Yeah.
Right? They're definitely particular types of chemicals, but they are definitely chemicals. They come together, and then we watch them grow up by feeding them, right? And we watch them grow. So, like, at what point do you think that the soul is injected?
There's the point.
Right
there.
Right. Okay. So tell me where the non-chemical bit is injected, right? And then I'll believe that I've got a reason for not believing that everything is chemical.
Yes.
Because quite honestly, as far as I can see, if you grant that a sperm is chemical and an egg is chemical, then that means that the resulting creature or life form is chemical. So
yes, but the soul enters the body right when that flash of light they say happens. Well, they claim now that there's a spark of light when the sperm hits the egg, that it causes
I heard that
flash of light. Like they think it's like this big like strobe light that comes on or something.
I have no idea, but I shouldn't think that that's a likely case.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah, some kind of zinc reaction, like there's something, like in the like I guess the membrane of the egg or the membrane of the sperm or something, but it's not a flash of light. It's just like some kind of little zinc or something.
Yeah, it's energy passing through ions. That's literally that's the medium electricity travels through our body in all the time. It's through sodium and potassium ions, and in that case, a zinc ion.
Right, and so they call it light because of the way the detector works, presumably, not because of what's actually happening.
Yeah,
that's what science is to these apologists and religious enthusiasts and stuff. It's a way to lie to people to get them to think that their religion is real and scientific,
and take away women's rights.
Right.
Yeah, I think when Robin was saying I think she meant Jimbob and his cohorts.
I'm talking about especially like the creationists who are, forced birthers.
Yeah.
Because this is what they're like. Well, see, this is when this is at fertilization. This is when it happened, or what is it? Conception, they say. Conception.
Yes, I think all of this can boil down to the fact that they hate women and homosexuals and transgender people more than they love education and healthcare.
And God.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the scientists did is they injected a fluorescent dye into the egg before it was fertilized. When an egg is fertilized, when one sperm finally makes it to the inside of the egg, there's this cascade. I guess that's why I didn't get much when I was a kid. There was this cascade of reaction, a calcium wave that comes out of the egg that stops all other sperms from getting in. And there's also some zinc chemistry going on. And they had a fluorescent dye. And when they took a picture of that fluorescent dye, they saw this flash. So the creationists thought, oh, it's the flash.
They all do that. Yeah, they all do that.
What the fuck? And if it hadn't been for the fluorescent dye, you would not have seen anything at all when the egg, was fertilized. I was, in fact, that's what I've been studying all day is the very earliest form of humans. And my question is, when the fuck does the soul get inserted? And if it's like when it's fertilized because of that little wave of calcium that comes out of the egg, and then it starts dividing, and then it becomes like 8 cells. Is there a soul? Because those 8 cells, if you put them on a slide, they look like a little glob of snot. So that little glob of snot is supposed to be a baby. It's like, what the fuck? Where did the baby happen? And Jimbob will say, see, he doesn't know when the baby happens. It's like,
the other day, my granddaughter was a big glob of snot, but that was a kind of a different context than what we're talking about.
Yeah. So we have another one of, I guess he must be one of Jimbob's lot. I don't know, but the saute, I guess that 1000. You trust the chemicals in your brain to tell you that they are chemicals. All knowledge is based on that which you cannot prove. Will you fight or will you perish like a dog? I've got no idea what the last sentence means, but if you listened carefully to what I said, right? I said, if you accept that eggs and sperm are in fact chemical, right, then you have to ask yourself the question, at what point is the non-chemical bit introduced, right? And there's no explanation
when does the soul inject
and
it?
If that's the case, if you can't give an argument for that, then you're justified to believe that, in fact, everything is chemicals about the human body, because all we're doing is adding chemicals to it all the time by eating food.
Oh, shit.
I realized will you fight or will you perish like a dog is a false dichotomy.
The only thing I'm fighting to do is to get theists to show me what rocks they've turned over, what they found under the rocks, and how they used what they found under those rocks to build a model to predict what's under the rocks they can't turn over. And science has done that, and it's been very open and honest about how it's done that at every step of the process. You want to pretend like these two things are on the same level? You're a fucking joke. Don't even waste my time.
I figured out divine hiddenness. I know. Okay, long time ago, when there were very few people, like just Adam and Eve and Noah and a few of his kids.
And other incestuous people, the family members.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of sex going on, right? So God has to sit there with his pipette and stick the soul in he has to like be present every time anybody's having sex. And he has to take the pipette and put the soul in the egg or in the zygote.
Ooh, the divine pipette.
But now there are fucking 8 billion people on the planet. So all he's doing is sitting there with his pipette and going around sticking souls in.
Well, maybe it's a magic pipette. Maybe it's like he only has to do it once and it inserts 1,000 souls.
No, I don't think so, because that would explain why God used to be sticking his nose and everything 2,000 years ago, and now you never see him.
Dude, because Mike, you need to start a church.
But Eve, I'd like to point out that Eve was
Mikeism,
since she was the old woman, like she was having a lot of sex.
And instead of crucifixes, your followers can wear pipette necklaces.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But in fact, Eve didn't have any children before it became painful to have children.
Yeah. Hi, Tori.
I mean, go figure that out, right?
And you know what? I think the pipette necklaces would be better marketing because it's not a symbol of torture and death.
You thought she would have been pushing them out like 10 to the dozen with no pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, but okay. So every time you guys have sex from now on, just think of God waiting there with his pipette with a soul in it.
I don't have to worry about that.
I don't even know what soul means anymore, right? I mean, like,
he must have a big bottle of souls that he, sticks the pipette in, and he squeezes it, sucks them up, and then sticks them in. Yeah. So God is kind of sticking it in there too, isn't he?
That's how some people end up with more soul than others. Sometimes he gets a bigger draw on the pipette, and then you get somebody like James Brown, and then sometimes he accidentally puts only the tiniest little bit of soul in the pipette, and that's how you get somebody like Jeffrey Epstein. You know what? This method is coming along really well, Mike. I think you need to write this down. We need to get a scripture going.
Little Richard called it the Big Dipper. You have to be poured into the Big Dipper and then be poured back onto the world, like Jimi Hendrix. But I'll just say this as well, which is to say, it doesn't make any sense, like the Catholic thing of life begins at conception, right? Because if that's when the soul is interjected, right? Well, think of all the natural, like miscarriages. Right, so that's God directly killing souls.
Well, that's where they made all that money, like selling, like making people pay for their babies that were sitting in, what was it called, purgatory?
Oh, purgatory, right?
Yeah. Remember, and like then all of a sudden they decided that it wasn't real. Like after like all them years of preaching, that's where the babies went.
So Saute 1000 says, what scientific evidence exists to justify belief in personhood? Right. Well, I tell you what, you answer my question first, which is, when does the soul get injected into the process to believe that it's not chemicals? Right. That would be nice if you could just answer that first. And then he also says, what distinguishes you from anyone else? Please send me scientific something.
I'll send you a picture, for fuck's sake.
That's evolution. That's evolution. So just go and study some evolution, and then you'll understand why we're different from each other.
Yeah. And you are so entitled, saying up here, send me this.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind. We can give him the proof. That's fine. I mean, evolution is a fact after all. But you didn't answer the question that you were asked, right? Which is, when does the soul get injected into the process? Is it at conception? Is it later on? Yeah. Well, likewise, I'm just asking questions, and you're not answering them, Saute.
Okay, Benghazi asked, do identical twins have half souls? I have twins, and I can attest that I don't think they have a soul at all. I think God missed with the pipette. He put it in between the two, but then we also have like an evil twin, and one of them's evil.
I'm less of a skeptic, Saute, and more of a rationalist, in that I'm not going to try and explain human behavior by saying, "Oh, there's a deity, there's a thing that I can't define." So your skepticism is useless if it's not grounded in rationalism, because then you're asking for evidence of things that aren't rational. So what's the point of being skeptical?
I'm a skeptic. Yeah. You're muted.
I've asked a question, Saute. If you could just answer, when does the soul get injected into the chemical process?
Well, I think we both know, Simos, that the soul is not a real thing. It's a fictional concept that evolved alongside human beings.
I'm not having that. If he's claiming there's a soul, I want to know when it gets injected into the chemical process.
Well, I'm telling you the atheist answer, which is that
I'm an atheist. Yeah. You don't have to tell me, dude.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah. But this is the reason why he can't answer. Because the truth is that souls aren't real.
He can make one up. I'm happy with him making one.
They make up a lot of stuff.
Oh, I don't believe in souls. Souls. Well, there we are.
Okay.
Welcome to atheism, brother.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you define a person? Yeah. Sure. Somebody with agency, I guess. I don't know. A human with agency.
Yeah.
Okay, he asked the question, and I think we should honestly try to answer the question. Basically, how do we define personhood? Okay, every person born it's an entirely different organism, number one, when they're born, and they go through a number of years of experience, and that is what your personhood is. And at every moment in time that you are alive, you become a different person. From 1 second to the next, you become a different person. Even though you kind of like, we know that our bodies occupy the same space for a great deal of time, and we have that our shape and our form and all of that, and that is part of our personhood. But what really makes us a person is the experience that we have in our life. So, I mean, if you don't believe in souls, good on you. Then that's how you define personhood. But you should know that you're going to change every second of your life, and that's a good thing.
But how do you ground that knowledge, Mike? How do you?
No, I don't know how I ground that. Got to ground my knowledge. Like, I can't tell you how I ground my knowledge, because you're going to have to tell me how we ground the fact that we're using the same language. How do we have knowledge of grounding at all, and without God?
Grounded in the ground.
He's just asked another great question here, if I may get a crack at this first. He says, where is the evidence for this personhood to exist? Why should I believe in personhood if there is no hard scientific evidence for it? Well, I tell you what, all you got to do is come round here. I'm going to smack you in the face with a 2x4. Right. When you wake up, I'm going to say, do you believe you exist? And then I'm going to smack you in the face if you say no.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to go and find somebody that you're really attracted to, on a romantic basis, right? And look at that person for a while, and then go look at your mom. And that's personhood.
Yeah.
That's hard scientific evidence, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. Or you could do it another way, couldn't you? Another thing that's come to mind, you could just go to your own mother and just say, fuck you, I think you don't exist.
Yeah.
See what the reaction is.
I did that all the time with my mom. She used to slap me all the time, man.
Same difference.
So when I was 13, I was in San Francisco, and I was living with my brother. And his wife was a young school teacher, probably in her early 20s. And she was making dinner, and I started on her with this skepticism thing, and I convinced her that there's no real way to know that she existed. And she started getting really upset, and she told me to shut the fuck up. And 3 days later, I was on a bus heading back to Minnesota.
There you go.
You made her into a nihilist.
Saute, what is your position? Are you a Christian or a Muslim or
what the hell are you?
Jewish person who doesn't believe in souls? If you don't believe in souls, what is God and the angels? What are they all fucking doing all day? Are they just sitting around watching Earth? Like, what is your theology? What is your? I'm so confused. What is your position, sir?
Troll. That's what it is. Troll.
Well, I mean, who knows? All I'm saying is that he's answered in slightly contradicted ways to say, I'm not here to discuss souls.
So because my understanding of it is that
obviously you do believe in that souls are a thing people talk about, right? Yeah. So there you go.
My understanding of it is that souls are a pivotal part of every deity claim there is. It's the largest portion of what the deity does is interacting with souls, ferrying souls from this realm to the next realm, judging souls, evaluating souls. Like, what is your position?
Hey, Jedi, by the way. Hi, Jedi.
Loki lost his mind.
Okay, so definition here is in religion and spirituality is the soul is the eternal divine part of a person. Something that survives physical death is subject to judgment, reincarnation, or spiritual growth. Figurative use. See, I mean, I don't want to go down those because they're just trivial. And in philosophy, it is the seat of consciousness, personality, or mind. So if you don't believe in any of those things, then I'll be a monkey's uncle, which, funnily enough, I might be.
Mm-hmm. I'm a monkey's aunt.
Yep. Let's have a little more Jimbob.
He says an animal, it exists and it is not a person. An animal is unique and exists and it is a person if it's a variety of animal called a Homo sapiens. So maybe personhood is kind of arbitrary because humans have the arrogance to insist they're separate from other animal species. But
just ask him if he has a word that he would prefer that we use instead of personhood. Like, do you have a better word?
I don't know. I think animals have personhood just like we do. I don't know.
Well, like I said, this is somebody who is not going to engage on a scientific level. That's why he doesn't want to answer any of these questions. He's literally said it here for us nice and clearly, which is, what did he say? I'm asking if there is an ontological status of personhood. So
he said that?
That's how you know that the person is just asking for some philosophical grounding. And at best, that's going to be circular, sir. So,
he didn't ask for a teleological status of it.
That's why we go to science rather for these things.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there an ontological status of a pile of sand? To call it a pile of sand, it's kind of the same question, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, kind of. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly say, or you can certainly make one up. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But you can certainly make up something about being grounded in some kind of presupposition. It's going to be circular.
Well, you see, in the field of statistics, Mike, 30 is necessary to have the central limit theorem applicable to a data set. So obviously 30 grains of sand is a pile.
Oh, okay. 30.
Either that or 50 shekels of silver.
There you go.
Explains why most of my models have a 1 in 30.
Or what's painful that you sit on.
Or Icarus if you're a woman.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Or if you're somebody that's protesting against ICE, you also don't have rights anymore. They'll crack your car window.
Yeah, we grant rights. As a society, we grant rights.
Or you're trans.
Try reading some Rousseau.
Yeah. Only privilege, yeah. Oh, let's see. Okay, more Jimbob? More Jimbob, boys and girls?
Why not? Let's see what Austin's... Hear him criticize Austin some more.
But also on my show and me, everything I believe and everything you believe is reduced to chemical reactions. And if that's the case, how could there be a raw...
That's why they took his show away.
Why is he glowing?
Chemical reaction.
Huh?
Oh, I thought he was glowing. Was that something you was doing?
I'm not sure. He's what? He's
he
growing?
Glowing. Like he had like a...
Might have been my cat.
Yeah, it's just a visual effects filter, Robin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
how can there be a wrong utterance if it's a result of a chemical reaction?
Well, because
if you have a chemical reaction that builds a model in your brain that says there's a ball inside of that box over there, and you open the box and there's no ball in it, your chemical reactions produced a wrong model. There you go. That was easy.
I mean, this is the second grader level of fucking philosophy that he's doing, right?
Yeah,
It's like, oh my god.
Well, he said utterance. How can the chemical produce an utterance which is false? Well, utterances, if they're propositions, are either true or false. It's as simple as that. You don't have to go down.
You need an utterance.
You don't have to go down the technical explanations. He's already granted utterances.
Yeah.
All right. Some utterances are propositions. Propositions are either true or false. That's how you can have an utterance which is either true or which is false.
Yep. He's basically asking what is the chemical composition of a proposition, which in my scientist's view is something you could in principle answer, but it would take you until the heat death of the universe to answer that fucking question.
He would understand it anyway.
I'm not even sure because, like, literally, if you knew, I mean, granted that there are some presuppositions involved, right? But like there is epistemologies which explain that, right? Which explain that using naturalism. And if you grant that epistemology, then that's no problem to explain because literally these are just words that we're putting together to form a proposition. Words are descriptive and they're invented, right? They don't pre-subscribe anything, right? They're not prescriptive, they're descriptive. So once you've granted that, you've got no problem.
Now, I like to reduce propositions down to a biological organism that is going to do some action, right? It's in one state now, and basically it's getting ready to move with its little flagella or whatever, and it has a proposition that comes up, that there is a gradient that basically tells it that there's sugar in this direction. And then it wiggles its little flagella, and it moves forward, and it finds out whether that proposition is true or false.
That's metaphorical use of the word proposition there, right?
Well, no, it's a little deeper than that, Simos. When you look at what a proposition is, it always involves the action of an organism, basically, or the proposed action of an organism. So if you look at it biologically, a proposition means nothing unless we have an organism that, or something that's moving. Basically, it has to be some action based on environmental cues. So when you look at it that way, the idea of a proposition becomes very simple to understand.
Well, too simple, but no, I disagree, because you can have propositions. You can have propositions which are hypothetical.
Do you disagree, Simon?
I do disagree strongly. Yes,
what is
I
your
can make up.
disagreement?
Well, I mean, for instance, like if Harry Potter says something, right? It's fictional because Harry Potter is a fictional character.
Right.
But it may be true within Harry Potter's universe, but it may be completely false in reality.
Okay, but you're imagining being in Harry Potter's universe. And
right.
Harry Potter's universe has environmental cues. And whether or not you're going to find a magic wand doing something in Harry Potter's universe, it's all in your mind. It all has to do with you acting, with you doing something.
Right.
So what about,
even if you're imagining it?
What about like geometrical propositions? Like if I propose that a circle is a triangle, there's nothing biological about that.
No, he's saying that just imagining it is the action there.
Yeah, it's basically it's based on you imagining whether you're going to do something with a circle or a triangle, right? You're going to have one or the other, and that's going to determine something, and you're still imagining some action. So
yeah,
it's very reductive, but when you say no.
Yeah. Well, you're presupposing.
Don't just shut it off, Simus.
No, I'm not shutting it off, but you are presupposing naturalism, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, because it may not be true.
What?
It may not be true.
Oh, geez, let me remove this guy.
What? Y'all, he's doing philosophy, and you're doing like empiricism.
Let me move this guy. Remove this guy.
Look, I agree with you, but the point being is that there's no, that's a presupposition. It's an a priori assumption, and I'm all with it, right? I think we've actually got good reasons to think that it is true, but that doesn't mean that everybody will think. Or
well, that's the best you can hope for, Simons.
All philosophers will agree. Yeah, and that's why. I mean, you're just saying that this proposition is true, and it's not demonstrable. So
who the hell was it that came up?
Maybe the proposition that you're talking about is within the exception.
There was some philosopher in the last century or so that came up with this idea that he was going to reduce everything to concrete logical statements, and he had this whole ontology. And
Bertrand Russell, maybe.
No, it was it was who was it?
Frege?
No, it wasn't Frege. It wasn't Russell.
Who's the positivist guy?
Maybe
Logical positivism.
Came around at the time of Quine, Frege, Russell, that whole
Nietzsche
spiel. Huh? Not Nietzsche.
Robert's in the thing. Do you know who he's talking about, Robert?
Shit.
It could be Wittgenstein, but he was a logical positive. But then he came from Vienna originally. But
God damn, I got his book over here somewhere.
I'll find it.
I'd have to look through 500 books. Right around the time. Okay, my goodness. I suppose I could go to ChatGPT and ask for all of the thinkers around that time. I'm trying to think of who he was like, but he had a big project, and anyway, he really got me excited because I like to reduce things down to almost where you could mathematically model things. And so I'll just reduce, and then I'll start constructing until I end up back at humans, right?
So what was I looking for? Logical positivity?
Logical positivism.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's not going to find it.
Doesn't say who it is. Let's see.
Oh, it wasn't Klein. It was, what the fuck was it?
Here are some logical positivists: Morris Schlick, Rudolf Carnap, Otto Neurath.
Carnap.
Okay.
That's really? Okay.
Yeah. A.J. Ayer or something like that too.
Yep. Ramsey, Tarski, Lewis, Klein. Yeah. Anyway, it was Carnap, and he had like a big project. So, and it really appealed to me because I like mathematics. I like looking at things like completely mathematically. Anyway, let's listen to some more Jimbob instead of this bullshit. I asked my AI. Thank you, Icarus. I asked my AI, and my AI told me, but somebody else told me before my AI did.
I think it was Frager that Russell wrote to.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going to ask what Carnap's project was. What was Carnap's project?
He's talking about. Yeah, that's right. It was Frager.
Yeah, Frege and Russell with Principia tried to. They were going to like find a foundation for everything, and then what the hell?
Yeah,
Get out came along and blew the shit out of the water. Kind of, yeah.
I mean, not. I think he'd already realized at that point that there was some unanswerable questions about.
So, Carnap's project was make philosophy scientifically respectable by clarifying language, logic, and structure of knowledge, while throwing metaphysical fog into the trash. So anyway, that's kind of a AI version of what he did.
That would have been nice if he'd managed that.
Yeah, big pieces of his project: eliminate metaphysics as nonsense or confusion. Most of it is nonsense or confusion, but there's a different kind of metaphysics where you start dealing with objects and space-time and relationships and all that stuff, which is really wonderful. And then there's the bullshit metaphysics like brain in a vat and God and precept and all that crap. So
yeah.
These guys like J. Dyer, they don't know what the fuck real metaphysics is. I have a couple books on real metaphysics, and it's not what they talk about.
And you can tell the difference between those real metaphysics and bullshit metaphysics, because real metaphysics enables predictions that are mostly accurate, and bullshit metaphysics enables predictions that are completely wrong and that end up having tremendous moral costs.
Yeah, like a real class of metaphysics like mereology, like how do objects exist in parts and things like that, and space-time and relations. And there's different ways of looking at space-time. Like when you look at two electrons that are, you got three electrons, right? One electron is 1 inch, or two electrons are 1 inch apart, and the first electron is 3 inches from the third electron. And so you have a metric, right, in space-time. Okay. Now you can take that metric and you can say, okay, what I'm interested in, like you can throw away the idea of a Cartesian coordinate system, and you can say there is a relationship called distance between electron A, B, and C. And there are, what do we have? 1, 2, 3 different relationships, basically. And so you look at it in an entirely different manner, and that's real metaphysics. When you get into crazy shit like that, you say, okay, what if distance is the metric is simply a relationship? Anyway,
when you use the empiricism-based metaphysics that create valid science, you get things like medicine and hospitals that use actual techniques that actually improve people's health and protect their lives. When you use your bullshit, you get your fucking theistic, Christian, nationalist, woman-hating, gay people-hating fucking bullshit that costs people their freedom, costs people their lives, costs people opportunities, etc. So that's one of the big differences. And go ahead and bring his question back up, because I think I just answered it. Yeah, science produces something that's actually valuable and actually works. So that's the foundation, and it's anything but incoherent. Get wrecked, nerd.
Also, I would answer it from a philosophical point of view, just saying, what is your epistemology of truth? I mean, what do you think truth is? Please, could you just give me a definition of what you think truth is and what kind of truth you subscribe to?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you're going to have a problem here.
It's like he's not even listening.
He hasn't answered any questions yet, really.
So I ground the extra scientific ground to validate science. Science's role is that it is based on common sense, what we do as organisms in the world. What we do as organisms in the world, we fit to the world, and that fit is called truth. Basically, if I fit properly, I can walk across the room without tripping over the cat. If I don't fit properly, I'm going to trip over something, right? And it's that goddamn simple. So I like to reduce things to those simple ideas of understanding that we are an organism and we have this complex brain that can model and predict the future. And we just do things, right? And that's what truth is about. Without us, without an organism, it kind of just like disappears into a blob of electrons, right?
I mean, okay, so truth is a very slippery word. Truth is a slippery word, okay? And
it is.
This is why I think, when we say science gives you truth, right? That can be quite a problematic sentence in itself, right?
Yeah.
Science actually falsifies things. It doesn't give you what is true. It gives you what is false. And if by eliminating enough false things, then by process of elimination, you're going to get closer and closer to the truth. But when we use the word truth with science, we're not using this absolute standard, right, which we can guarantee is going to be foundational and grounding in some way which has justification. That's never going to be the case, right? Like I said, people who subscribe to JTB, right, I don't really understand what the truth part of that is, I don't think, right? Get your problems show that there's problems with just saying using JTB as an answer for knowledge, right? Mainly because we don't have access to truth. We're human beings. So I just think you don't understand what you're talking about if you think, hang on. The truth is when a thing in reality conforms to the thing in the intellect.
Yeah.
Conforms to the thing in the intellect?
I would say truth is truth. Like what we do, we don't seek for truth. We seek for what comports to reality more closely.
Well, I mean, you could say that, but again, you're dealing with a mind. Right? It has truth has nothing to do with the mind.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't use the word truth. When we're saying truth in this context, we're talking about what more closely comports to reality.
No, that's completely the wrong way around. It's the thing when the intellect, right, comports to what is in reality, then we say that it's truth.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not saying that the thing in the intellect is still conforms to reality. Right. It doesn't necessarily. That's why we use the scientific method, because that's a way of taking the foibles which are in the mind, which stop us observing the reality as what is in reality. Right. And it takes all of those biases, not all of them necessarily, but a lot of those biases out of the process. So we come closer to observing what is in reality, right? And there are many times we're going to say it doesn't give you exactly what is reality, right? We often have in science, many sciences are based in mathematics. And mathematics is still just a description of a language which we can use to describe reality. But like I said, there's no such thing as a point in reality. There's no such thing as a straight line in reality. There's no such thing as a line in reality. There's no such thing as a triangle or a square. A sphere, you're getting close, but not exactly. So if you're going to think of truth, right, you've got to give this leeway of saying a best approximation that we can make. It's not going to be something which is absolute, right?
Buddy Bro is a science denier. He's just jacking himself off. He's sitting over here going, science can't prove things to me.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things
that are things to me, and I can prove things to myself with my masturbatory circular God presupposition. These are on the same level, totally. He's just jacking
There's a lot
off.
of things that are true that do not have anything to do with like the thing in reality in some people's minds.
Okay, Simos.
That's completely the wrong way around to say it as well. If you were to say it the other way around, I'm granting you just made a mistake there, right? Yep. But it's if the thing in the intellect conforms to reality, then we call it truth.
But, science, fortunately, is true whether or not you believe in it. So cry about it. The fact that it can't prove things to you while you sit over there being extremely hostile towards it because it's shrinking the magisterium of your mystical, philosophical, masturbatory, circular bullshit beliefs in something beyond physicalism is so irrelevant. It's no more relevant to the point than the fact that a drunk person is probably in a better mood than a sober one. So get wrecked, nerd.
Should we pray together?
There you go. So, Skeptic Philosophy asks.
Robert, where you go, Robert?
Skeptic Philosophy. Let's read the question out. Skeptic Philosophy asks, "You have me convinced. Now, what do I do? Should we pray together, or what church do I go to now?" Well, just answer that.
He's asking some decent questions. I don't know. But anyway, Simos, back to my reductive bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Single-celled organism with a flagella. Okay, basically, it receives some chemical signal at one end of the organism, and so it orients basically to that signal so that the front of it is facing that signal. And that signal tells it that there's glucose. It whips its flagella, it goes over there, and it gets fucking fried because it's not glucose. It turns out to be it's false. So his proposition is false. And so what he said about basically the intellect conforming to reality is kind of true in that basically whatever happens inside the organism that tells it to take some action is the proposition. And the proposition being true or false is whether or not that action is going to result in survival or death, or survival or starvation or whatever.
I'm going to be honest, Mike. I'm on Simo's side with you. You've lost me on this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But work with it for a while and build it up.
I will.
Build it up to the kind of organism that you are. Okay. When you decide, I want a ham sandwich. Okay. And you think, oh my God, there's that ham sitting up in the fridge. And you run up the stairs, and of course I have to run upstairs to get to the fridge. And you run up the stairs, and there's no fucking ham there. False proposition, right? So I mean, your mind is nothing but a very complicated single-celled organism that has evolved for 4 billion fucking years and gotten a little more intricate. And you always have to consider, what is my mind? What is my mind doing? What is a proposition to a human being? A proposition to any of us is something that we're going to act on. Prove me wrong.
I'm just thinking of
I don't think that we are going to react upon. Okay. But you could say that we would react upon, maybe, or take action upon. I don't know. I'm not even convinced about that, because that's just a gambling fallacy, I guess. But I mean, if you're just saying that thinking is an action, right?
Yeah.
Then I guess you've got to think in order to construct a proposition. But flagellums, or whatever the word is, they don't have a brain, so they don't think. So they can't construct propositions.
But they kind of do. They kind of do, because
they kind of do.
They kind of do.
Hang on. They kind of do, but only in a metaphorical sense.
No, in a very reductive sense. That is how you evolve. That is what your brain is for.
A proposition, I think, is a statement which is either true or false.
But Mike, I'm always point out that when you go that route right there, you are like just egging on for them to like ensue some kind of intent into what you're saying.
Yes, in a way.
That's why you can't give them stuff like that. You can't feed them stuff like that
but I can, because I can back it up I can back it all the way up from that single-celled organism evolving all the way into a fully functioning human being with a brain.
Okay, I mean, I just have a different definition of the word proposition than you. That's all.
What is yours?
Something like a statement, which can either be true or false. Something.
What's a statement?
I don't. Series of words, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, series of words. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
But what's it all about?
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up for you.
What's it all about? Go ahead and go talk to AI about this for a little while. I've talked to AI.
I wouldn't talk to AI about anything like this deep.
Really? Oh my God, it's wonderful. It will give you all kinds of pushback.
Okay, a statement is essentially a statement declares something that can be judged as true or false in logic. Almost the same as a proposition. I disagree with that. A sentence. Yeah, there you go. It's a sentence. Right, statement is a sentence. Right, what's a sentence? I mean, these are all linguistic terms, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Most places where I've looked up the definition of proposition, it tries to separate the declarative statement from what that statement says.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good that endeavor is, but it's not the sentence itself, but it's what that sentence is saying.
Yeah,
so
there we go. I'm right.
Like it's kind of an essentialist, meaning behind something, but it's almost kind of reifying something that's very abstract.
Okay, so a sentence is a set of words that express a complete thought in a language. So,
yeah, and then we got to talk about language and everything goes back to biology. I'm sorry, everything is biology. Just everything reduces to biology.
It says words. It literally says words in the definition.
Words are just squeaky sounds that animals make.
A set of words that expresses a complete thought in language. So unless you're saying that the thought itself is what is an action, right? In which case that excludes things which don't have brains, then I'm not sure I agree with you.
Skeptic philosophy asked me, what is my definition of AI? Your replacement. The next guy
will never replace me. I'm the guy that trains the AI, so can't replace me.
Anyway, there you go. Anyway, we can have that discussion another time if you want. I think that's another one for the Onion if you wanted to.
Yeah, the thing is that you have to get this. You go to reduction, and then you have to work on construction. And when you do that, what you construct will have a much different, more pristine look to it when you reduce it properly.
Right.
That sort of thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
if you were to put together an argument for that, I would go through
Brains
it.
for more complex action with the environment, biochemical messaging for another set, consciousness growing across species. Yep. I think laborious cretin might be on my page. I'm not sure. Anyway,
I'm kind of seeing it a little bit, but I don't know. I still am a little apprehensive. I think it's possible for propositions to be more complex than that viewpoint entertains.
Oh, hell
I think it's also possible for them to be completely non-anthropomorphic, like to not involve humans at all.
Yeah, like my bacteria don't involve humans, of course. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Not under my view.
or even just not living things.
Somebody misspelled consciousness? Oh,
like if you make a proposition about gravity, there's no biological action happening there. Those are you can have two masses that aren't living and they exert an attraction on each other, and that's a proposition that involves no biological activity that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but it's like you can say, imagine a universe that only has, imagine a possible world, right, or universe, whichever, which only has a single rock in it, right?
So a year ago, I read.
So there's nothing conscious in it.
Yeah.
Right? It's only one rock, so it can't be attracted to anything because it's already a rock. Right? There's no brains. There's no life.
Yeah.
All right? Now, I can make a proposition up about that.
Yeah.
Right? And it could be true.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, where do we go with that then? Because it's completely fictional.
Yeah.
On January 16th of 2025, I encountered a block of ice in my driveway, and there was a whole lot of flailing around and screaming and a lot of biological activity when I encountered that proposition about gravity. So anyway, let's get back to Jimbob. Lots of screaming is biological activity. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but
oh, for sure.
Old man screaming, breaking his hip.
Yeah, you should hear the foxes around my way. Oof.
Oh yeah,
a lot of biological activity going on.
Oh yeah, those fuckers. I was hunting fox the other day, but we won't get into that because I'll get my channel canceled. Anyway, Jimbob.
Out of our mouths, be right or wrong, correct or incorrect, if it's all determined chemistry.
Blah, blah, we went through
it can't be. It's impossible.
Impossible.
Why are you confused that people believe God exists?
From incredulity.
If you just admitted everything from...
That's an argument from incredulity when he says that's impossible.
That's impossible. I'm not confused about why people believe that God exists. People believe that God exists because of sociocultural conditioning and because God is a fictional concept that evolved alongside human language, architecture, and biology and culture. That it's like, what are you talking about? We just define God differently.
He just admitted that believing God exists is stupid. Okay.
Yeah, he did kind of do that. Yeah,
he did kind of do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
it can't be. It's impossible. Why are you confused that people believe God exists? If you just admitted everything from everyone's view, everything's reduced to chemistry. Why are you confused?
He just said it's stupid, right? He just said it's stupid. He doesn't even listen to himself.
Yeah, he brought it up as an example of chemistry producing wrong beliefs. And I explained how that's possible because your chemistry is not perfect. You look at the world, and because of the way your brain works, without having real significant justification, you think that box over there has a ball in it. And then you get up and you go open the box and there's no ball in it. It's easy to do, actually. It's trivial.
No ham in the fridge.
Yeah.
Here's one. I thought my wallet had a debit card in it yesterday. Boy, was I wrong. Shit.
You still haven't found that debit card?
I've not found a debit card. I've done some workarounds.
Did you call the stores that you were at? Because oftentimes they'll have it. That's where my debit card always is, at the holiday station in a drawer.
You better shut it off. That's what I would do.
Well, I will. I just want to make sure my rent payment goes through. I don't want anything to...
And you know what? It's not that big of a deal if you go over and you open that box and there's no ball in it. But it is a pretty big deal if you spend your whole life being inside of a psychological cage that doesn't allow you to really examine and interpret and understand reality. That's pretty significant. So sometimes false beliefs aren't that big of a deal and don't really even have an impact on fitness or joy or living a life that's worthwhile. Sometimes it's devastating.
It's hard to understand somebody thinking that science is imposed on society.
I know. Yeah, they're imposing it.
That to me is just
all those. Don't we all recall those scientists in their lab coats knocking on our doors and preaching the good word of science to us and never calling us and sending us emails unsolicited about the good word of science and how we need to come to science and.
I'm so glad the guy on a computer.
I'm so glad that doctor broke into my house when I was a baby and stabbed me with a
all those political candidates up there chanting about how they're science's chosen candidate. Yeah.
Like the Mayo Clinic Mayo Clinic strapped me to a table and cut out my kidney cancer. Them bastards.
I mean, this guy, it's like the internet is being imposed on him, and his computer is being being imposed on him.
Yeah. All imposed.
We imposed all of that on him.
What about when you turn a light switch on? How much science is behind that shit?
Right? We're imposing photons on this motherfucker.
Terrible stuff, like air conditioning.
You're going to take those photons whether you want them or not.
So, he thinks the cat is dead. That's the sad part about Schrodinger's experiment. A poor kitty. Okay. Now, he's going further.
Because again, all those political candidates going up and giving their stump speeches about how science is the sole method to determine reality. That happens all the time, and it's not the exact opposite. It isn't candidates up there saying that their belief in their God is the only way for society to be moral. Come on, man. You are.
What is another way besides science?
I wish I lived in the propagandized victim fantasy world you live in. Good Lord.
We've never made that claim. I will say that it's probably the most reliable method we have, but it's not the only method we have.
Yeah, I'd say it should be 80% of the big pie of truth-finding methods. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's not the only method. But it's the most reliable.
Because I would rather know that the germ theory of truth is reality rather than the miasma theory, did I say germ theory of truth? Germ theory of disease, than the miasma theory of disease. And how do you figure that out? You figure it out by using science and discovering germs and finding out, germs are causing all these diseases, and miasma is just.
Yeah, people smell lots of smells without getting a disease, but nobody ever got a disease without getting the pathogen that causes that disease in their system.
Very well stated.
Okay.
I don't think Silas has gone anywhere, Saute. Maybe he's tired of you.
No, I'm back. I did just pop off for a short while just to go to the toilet. And I'm back now. And if you've got any questions, just write them in the chat and we'll see.
Simos, the only one we're speaking to. How about that? That's good, Simos. Thank you for showing up. Otherwise, this guy wouldn't have anybody to talk to.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as he writes in the chat, I'm happy.
I do like hearing Simos talk too, so I got to say that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's the first thing you've said that makes any sense, bud.
Oh, anyway. Oh, no,
our friend in the chat.
I'm just messing with you, Austin.
Scott's taking the dog outside.
I was hoping we were going to get to the part in this video where I was talking about penises and he was talking about me talking about them.
Oh, I think I got that.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. I want to hear that. Definitely. Yeah. I want to hear Robin talking about penises.
Because, Big Red Mama sent me a message and said, you're on Jimbob's talking about penises.
Oh, let's see. Okay, the grapey humans, that one? When he was talking about grapey humans, I can't.
I don't
see penis, dude. Okay, let's listen to this part. This is where he says some really ridiculous shit.
Is that selected for? It's weird how you suddenly say that's not that could happen all throughout the animal kingdom, penises? Right? But you get really squeamish.
Was it around the duck penis talk?
I don't remember.
It might have been.
Yeah.
Oh, squeamish when it comes to humans, right? Why?
Before you start again, let me just answer it. Simus, have you spoken with Jimbob? I've spoken to him once or twice, I think.
It's not worth it.
I mean, it was okay. It didn't really go anywhere, but we got stuck on defining words. So
I had a really good conversation with him about Christian Orthodoxy, I think, one time. So he can talk coherently.
Sometimes I've heard some stuff he said. I've heard of some good discussions. I think he had his discussion with Danny one time, which was quite good. And
right, Robert. True.
Very good true. Comment, skeptic. Yeah, I don't know. We're talking about penises here, so let's see.
Yeah,
that's a whole other element, dude. I mean, every aspect of biology is a true mind maze for these people in their view.
Female ducks' reproductive anatomy has evolved to be very stymieing to these efforts. And in response, the male duck's anatomy has responded by evolving these corkscrew-like penises that can actually fertilize them despite their labyrinthine female anatomy.
They already have a penis, dude. You see how dumb these
Yeah,
people
and that
are?
penis
I go, how do you get penis
It's not
not
a
a penis?
nub.
He's like,
It's a penis. It's not a nub. They don't have a nub.
It's not like an ancestor's penis would have been. So if you're asking about change in penis, it's not hard to imagine. You don't even have to imagine it. It's a physical reality.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I gotta go way back in my transcript. Where the fuck am I?
And Saute, I also had a debate with Jimbob. It was on evolution. It was a really good debate. And it ended with him saying that he looks at evolution like it's sola scriptura, which is probably the most ironic thing he could say as a presuppositionalist Christian whose filter is not allowed to point in any pure naturalism direction, whereas my filter is allowed to point wherever the evidence truly calls for it to.
Oh, let's see.
Now I debate even on whether Christianity should be in government. He kept like quizzing me on, could it? And yeah, it can, because we can amend the Constitution ever, but he never gave us should. He never he never came up with an ought out of that is, not one time.
Where is he on Christian nationalism?
What do you think?
He's in favor of it. He doesn't think women should have rights unless men decide to give them rights with violence.
Yeah.
We gave you the right to vote. I was like, let me tell you something. First of all, I'm older than you. Second of all, neither one of us were around at suffrage time, so you didn't give me shit. But but he kept saying, so can we amend the Constitution? Can we do this? And I was like, yes. If you get 2/3 of each house, and then you have the president sign it, and then you ratify it with 3/4 of the states, then yes, you can make an amendment. And I said, but that still doesn't say you should. Like he kept trying to drag an ought out of his ear.
I can smash the tip of my dick with a hammer every hour on the hour, but that's not a good reason to smash the tip of my dick with a hammer.
I told him, I said the debate was should it be, not can it be. And he failed to ever provide any sort of should argument at all.
Yeah.
Except for I should do it because I'm a man. Well, and like I told him, he assumed that all the other men in the world would be on his side. Like I told him, I said, I guarantee there's a huge majority of the men I know that like me better than you, and they would be on my side before they would be on your side. That's what I told him. So.
100%. And we should definitely try and make every metaphor and argument related to dicks somehow if we can, because then Jimbob will be able to understand it better, as will his audience.
Because Jimbob knows dick.
Yep, nobody knows dick like Jimbob knows dick.
Okay, yeah. So the problem with what in that sentence is, you're saying, how can you be certain, right? Nobody's saying that we are certain. I mean, I've gone at length to describe how human beings can never be certain because we're not omniscient. So the question in itself is just it's a null question, really. It doesn't mean anything.
You can almost certainly never be certain.
Yeah. Even being certain, I don't know that I'm certain.
It's almost, though. That's doing the almost.
I can't be certain.
What does Robert doubt? What do you doubt, Robert? He said, I doubt that often. Prove me wrong. I don't know what you doubt.
Yeah. You need to just like think about what kind of epistemology of truth. What is your view on truth? Right? There are many different types of truth in philosophy, so you need to just define a little more clearly which one you're using
Good try, Robert. Good try. I am not hitting the tip of my dick with a hammer, but that's a good try.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think you were. Like, I didn't think you were making near enough noise for that.
That is a good point about consciousness, though, which I'd like to make, which involves that. Like, it's my 2x4 thing again, right? Somebody said, how do you know consciousness is like in the head, in the brains? And I said, well, if I hit you around the leg with a 2x4, I might break your leg, but I'm unlikely to damage your consciousness. But if I hit you in the head with a 2x4, I'm likely to damage your consciousness.
Of course, for a while, the only thing I'd be conscious of is that my leg hurts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it kind of says really that consciousness is in the head, not in the leg.
There's nothing worse than waking up in the middle of the night with a migraine headache, taking some medicine for it, and it takes hours for the thing to subside. You were just always ever conscious that your head's throbbing and you want to throw up and everything. It's just consciousness of pain is one of the worst things. I'm so glad they invented drugs.
No, I'm not certain of that. It depends on the axioms which I'm using to define truth. That's what I'm saying to you. Yeah, if you tell me what your axioms are, then I may agree with you or I may not agree with you.
I'm back.
But yeah, I'm pretty certain that 2 and 2 is 4, given the axioms. But I'm not sure that the axioms are provable. I'm not certain about the axioms, but I am certain about the conclusion of the axioms.
What the hell kind of truth is he talking about? What kind of truth?
I don't know. He still hasn't described what truth.
I mean, what do you want to use? What is your concern? What do you want science to do for you?
No, it's the certainty bit. That's what he's getting hung up on, right?
So
he said, how can you be certain that science is in fact the way? It's not a criteria that we use.
Certainty is a religious idea. We can't be certain of anything, even that. Can't even be certain that I can't be certain of anything. But I mean, you'd be pretty goddamn sure I got a cat in front of me right now. Kitty.
Me too.
Kitty.
In decades and decades of searching, I have never found a better method than curiosity, rationality, logic, empiricism, ontology, epistemology, axiology, science, fallibilism, and humanity in harmony. Sorry.
Okay, so the basic types are correspondence theory, coherence theory, pragmatic theory, deflationary or minimalist theory, or constructivist theory. Those are the basic types. I mean, there might be some more. So it depends which version of truth you're talking about. Personally, I'm a fallibilist anyway, and I think the human mind can never be certain.
Yes.
Right? Just because of solipsism, right? Just right there is your argument. But I think that there's no point in assuming solipsism.
No, I think the problem is we don't have certainty. We're almost certainly never certain.
Yeah, I'm not even certain. I'm not even certain that certainty is impossible.
I feel like you're not listening.
I'll go a step further and say that not being certain is the epistemologically superior position.
Yes, fallibility is always the way to be. Like, and he keeps like just not even listening.
No, I mean, at least he is listening. He is listening. I'm not going to have that he's not listening, because he is.
What is a metaphysical realist?
I'm about to look that up. I mean, I guess it's something to do with...
I think I'm just a realist. I think that's
why does he keep asking us if we're certain?
I think that's going to be... I think that's going to be to do with idealism or dualism.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Loki, say hi.
Medical reality, independent reality. The universe, objects, facts exist regardless of human minds. Okay, well, I agree with that.
Okay.
Truth and correspondence. Statements or propositions are true if they accurately describe this independent reality. Yeah, okay, well, that's not so bad.
Yes, I'm making a truth claim. Okay, so I'm making a truth claim by claiming we cannot be certain. Yeah.
And saying almost certainly cannot be certain. Like,
and I'm not certain of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not too bad, actually. Yeah.
One observation is if we're wrong about whether or not we can be certain, the consequence is we can be certain. So
it's
really like a consequence without. It's like a contradiction without a consequence.
My phrase is not contradictory. Almost certain.
Yeah,
almost certainly you're never certain.
Yeah.
That is that. Yeah, he's using that no basically first year philosophy got you. You know, how can you be certain that you can never be certain? It's a self-contradiction. So we just said it. We're almost certain. We don't have to claim that we're certain of anything.
Yes, a broken clock is right a couple of times a day. So
and I would say that I'm certain that I cannot be certain.
Almost
but but you use the word certain in two different ways in that sentence. So that's a little trick that you're pulling. So get out of first year philosophy and get beyond it. Okay.
And maybe learn statistics and confidence intervals and things like that and think in those terms.
Unreasonable skepticism. There you go.
Yeah.
And I gave you examples why humans,
how can you be certain? It's a contradiction.
Cannot be certain in the sense that they know everything.
I feel like it's rude to come on here and mentally masturbate like right here in public.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you could see below the desk.
Oh Lord!
But you know,
showing. I didn't think it was that big.
No, you know what? It's good for us, Robin, because it's like if somebody walked in your house and you said, please take off your shoes and hat at the door. And instead they took their pants down and they took a giant shit on your rug. And this is what theists behave like. And the more they show that behavior, the more we can hold up a mirror to that and say, look, this is what deism does. It makes you be stupid and ignore social mores and ignore humility and good behavior and respect and politeness. Then it's good for us. The less people that will buy into that shit and make it their political basis for discrimination and prejudice and all the horrible political shit they believe in,
destroying the planet. Like wiping out all the other animal species. And
I want to have a host minute here for just for a second. Okay, Sate 1000 with his simplistic defense of Jimbob, which he's doing right there, is basically him coming on gives us something to check our ideas, right, and to talk about and to explain where we're coming from. So we do want to hand him that, and he's asked a couple of good questions here. So anyway, give him a little credit. Don't shit all over him.
Yeah.
But now here we go. Then why would anybody take you seriously? What the fuck? Why not? On the one hand,
my chemical reactions create a brain that's curious, it's rational, it's logical. It goes and it turns over every rock that it can, and so that it knows exactly what's under those rocks without having to guess at all. If it can't turn a rock over, it admits it and never stops questioning its model for what's under that rock. And that is why. It's really simple. His method is that God already told him what's under the rock, and he doesn't have to question it anymore. That's why. That's why you should listen to me over him.
Okay.
Right. So with that last question, like, you need to look up Gettier problems. Okay. That's one of the issues that JTB has. So as much as you think that JTB might be a good definition of knowledge, it's not. I'd probably go for with RTB if anything, but
yeah, I can tell you definitively that Jimbob is wrong about evolution. He doesn't know shit about it. But anyway, so I accept evolution, and every day, because I accept evolution, I open a book and I study evolution to find out how something happened, because I don't accept it unconditionally.
Basically, yeah, I don't claim to have a perfect map by divine right. I use the terrain to improve my map. He uses the map to distort the terrain so that it always fits his map. That's why ours is better.
Yeah, so knowledge may not have complete justification. That doesn't mean we don't fool things.
This part right here, he's not asking us to justify our own criteria of knowledge. He's asking us to be certain, and we're not. So, I mean, my criteria of knowledge accepts some uncertainty, right? That I could be wrong about something. That's what it accepts. So, I mean, but most of the time I'm right because I'm 75 years old and I'm still alive. So obviously I have missed every fucking bus that tried to kill me. I've missed every line of cocaine that tried to kill me.
I didn't miss any. Hey, this could be Jimbob, y'all. This I looked this account up. It's
really?
It's not got any. It's not. There's not.
Look, I just got to say. I got to say something about that last one again. Like he's saying that he's not asking about JTB, and yet you're saying, how do you justify your criteria of knowledge? Right. Well,
the goalposts are all over the place.
We've done that several times. I don't subscribe to JTB, right? Because I don't think all knowledge can be justified.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Which means the ontology itself, right, may not have a justification. However, if it's reliable, right, and gives us good reason to believe that something comports to reality, then I think we could call it knowledge. Does that mean everything is going to be susceptible to that definition? Not really, no, because as Mike has already pointed out, there are some propositions in maths, right, which are necessarily true, which cannot be justified.
Yep, cannot be proven
and for that,
within that framework.
And for that, we have axioms.
Yeah.
Right? Completely well-defined axioms.
Mike,
so what makes you think that things which are not well-defined, right, like, I don't know, reality, for instance, are gonna have the same kind of justifications and criteria? That doesn't make any sense.
Put Trusty Apeco's comment up there.
I can't be certain he's not Jimbob. Can you be certain he's not Jimbob?
No, we can't. We can't demarcate between that. No. Yeah.
Can we be certain that JD Vance didn't have sex with that coach?
No, of course not.
There's been no recliners born yet.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that there is a distinction, right? Like there is no such thing as certain knowledge, as far as I'm concerned. Right? And even that statement itself, I'm not certain of, right? Unless I have axioms, right? If I have well-defined axioms, then I can get closer to certain knowledge.
Am I certain that I have a cat?
That's the only way.
I stepped in the kitchen for a few minutes and we get this little message. You guys are hung up on evolution. Note that that's the topic today.
Yeah.
We are asking you about the fundamental frames of how you gain knowledge. And that's how every presuppositionalist always changes the subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you put up Trustee Apeco's comment?
He's not Jimbob, and I believe that. I honestly believe.
Divine intervention.
So at the end of your life, Mike, when you're walking along a beach with God and you look at all the undone cocaine, God says, that's when I did the cocaine for you.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay. There you go.
Remember the footprints parable?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is great, Austin. That was great. Yes.
Thank God. I didn't have to do it all.
Trust me, he didn't do any of my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Move on with the video, please. Yeah, okay. We'll move on with the video.
No, axioms do not have to conform to reality. By their nature, they're unjustified.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't have to conform to anything.
But you can create another framework outside of it and justify those axioms.
Well, I'm not convinced that all mathematical propositions reflect reality. So
in math, there's something called the trichotomy axiom, which says that 3 is something other than 4, which is something other than 7. And it would be really hard to do math without that axiom in place.
Yep.
And there's many of them. They're all essential.
Skeptic is what wants us to go on, and we have to listen to skeptic philosophy.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Because he wants to hear me talk about penises.
He what?
He wants to hear Robin talk about penises. I want to hear Robin
want to hear
about penises.
Yeah.
In fact, right now, I'm going to send you a dick pic, Robin.
Hang on a second.
Here we go. Talk about this one.
Penis. Talk about what?
It's all right. It's a joke. Don't worry.
Do you show a penis picture?
No, I'm just sending Robin.
No, he said he was going to send me one, like on my phone. Like.
Oh, okay.
And he said, talk about this one.
Okay.
Look, Mike thought you was.
Do you ever see the duck?
What now? Can we?
Oh, here we go. Penises.
Well, you see, they're really grapey, and the female ducks don't really like it, and so they developed accidentally a corkscrew element to their penis. Did they already have a penis?
They already had
I'm granting that they already have a penis.
They
right?
already had penises, and behavior influenced.
It's really fascinating because
behavior influenced evolution. Female ducks that didn't want to get impregnated, that had female anatomy that stymied impregnation, were more likely to be produced because the selection pressures of duck sexual behavior. And as a result, male ducks with penises that were longer or curvier were also more likely to be able to successfully reproduce. It's called an evolutionary arms race. The different traits perpetuate each other and become their own selection pressure. It's not that hard to comprehend.
Can you remember any words that you used, Robin, that I could search for? That would
I never did catch it on the show when Big Bad Mom. I never did go back and watch it. So
okay. Let's see.
Jimbob's world.
Like, I'm still
that's
there.
not possible. You can't.
But I don't think I'm still there. But I don't think I did. I don't think I talked much. Like just at the beginning, and then I left because I left pretty early.
Yeah, we didn't let you talk much last week.
Let's ask real quick. What is the alternative that Jimbob's proposing here? That God purposefully designed ducks to be the grapiest creeps in nature?
Yes, oh yeah.
The duck is proof of God. Yes.
Proof that God's a schraper.
I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that he's gone to ducks.
Okay, grapey ducks. Back to grapey ducks.
Have this, like they had to have been created at the same time, even though it's so clear that both of these features are designed to stymie one another.
Designed? Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Designed? Did you just say designed?
They have the effect that they stymie one another.
Listen how broken their philosophy is.
Actually fertilize them.
Oh, good Lord. It's just ease of communication.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, if you use... if we use the word design or fit or fucking intention or purpose or function or anything, they're going to jump on how we use English to explain.
Why you use that word around them?
Yeah, explain to these idiots how something works. You have to talk down to them.
Yeah,
and you can't always use molecular or evolutionary terms. They yell when you do that, right? So I don't know. Anyway.
Despite their labyrinthine female anatomy.
Okay.
It's really fascinating because I think in Jimbob's world,
listen to his words closely.
And that's not possible. You can't have this. Like they had to have been created at the same.
They have to be created with purpose, right?
Time, even though it's so clear that both of these features are designed to stymie.
They have to be created, right, with some intentionality and relationship that they work together in a very unique, particular way, right? No, they have to be designed.
So it was designed. It was designed in a way that makes reproduction harder to accomplish. Yeah, sure.
But he doesn't understand coevolution and natural selection at all, and it's just. And you can't get him to sit down and listen to what he's asking. What he's asking is if we have a mama and a papa organism, right? They're both fully functioning organisms. Oh no, I used the word function. Oh no, God forbid. And they have a baby organism, and the baby organism is a little bit different. His penis is just a little tiny bit bigger, just a smidge, right? It's like, and now we're on our way from 1/8 of a penis to a full 8/8 of a penis. And, oh my God.
Or even 1/4 of a penis, or 1/2 of a penis.
1/2 of it, yeah. I mean, any kind of penis. Well, Trump obviously has 1/4 of a penis, and he had sex with a porn star and had to pay her $300,000.
9 out of 8 Americans struggle with fractions about penises.
My ex had an 1/8 of a penis, and he has 5 children. So there you go. 1/8 of a penis is very functional.
I've heard a lot of complaints. I wouldn't know from my own personal experience, but I've heard a lot of complaints about 1/8 of a penis. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just to point this out, that when we're talking about things that are in nature, like biology, etc., then the word design doesn't necessarily imply that there is an agent which is taking care of business and designing. It actually has a different definition, which is to say it appears, apparent. These words used for design, right? It's implying apparency.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm saying a self-organized, self-organizing system design.
Finish the sentence. Yeah. But of course, it can be misinterpreted, and the same thing with the word creation as well. When we say something is created, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is an agent which is doing the creation. It could just be referring to an action that happens, right?
Please don't take me off the atheist mailing list, Robert. I promise that I'm saying that a self-organizing system designed these things. That's not. I'm not using the word designed as in this was intelligently designed by a divine creator, as much as Jimbob wants to pretend that that's what I secretly believe.
I'm just going to write down the exact definition here. Here it is. Let me just put it in chat.
Top Dog talked to ChatGPT for us. Can nature design?
There we go. I'm back.
You're back?
Yeah. So in biology philosophy, teleologic sense, in discussion of nature theology, design can mean apparent purposeful arrangement in a natural system.
Apparent, yeah. If you mean intentional playing with oversight, like human engineering with goals, there's no evidence that evolution or natural processes have awareness or intentions or goals. If you mean producing complex functional structures, then yes, nature can generate things that look designed. Anyway, Top Dog linked that in the chat.
Yeah, if it makes you happier, Jimbob, let's say that natural selection produced those features by kludging together random mutations. That's not a design as in something drawing out a blueprint that it had planned. Thanks. Okay, good. All right.
And
how is it like if I go a certain amount of time without making any mistakes, the warnings fall off, or is it just like a permanent warning?
Yes, it has.
Oh, you're getting a warning.
A good example here, I think a good example here is that the difference between nomological and axiological definitions or explanations, really. So, yeah, you could say if you see somebody running down the road, right, you could describe all of the motions of their muscles and the neuro like signals sent by their central nervous system. And you could explain all of that in great detail, and that would explain how somebody is running down the road, right? Or you can just give an axiological definition of why they're running down the road, which is literally half a sentence probably would be enough, right? So the reason why we use these words, right, especially in things like evolution, right, which is a vastly complex subject, and in biology, which is vastly complex, is because we don't have enough time to sit there and say everything that is involved in the object of a muscle moving. We just don't have that time. So we tend to use like axiological definitions or purposeful definitions simply because we understand that these are biological functions, and therefore we're not prescribing or presupposing some kind of designer or some kind of agency. That's the important point. We're not describing agency. We're just describing as if, because it's a lot quicker, as I think you'll agree.
And yes, to that question right there, yes, it has. That's the philosophy of science, and that's how we got science. It's through the philosophy of science, right?
So, okay, has the scientific method itself undergone a scientific method to determine if it should be used to determine? Okay, so what method did you use to come up with that question? What method of knowledge did you use to come up with that question? How do you ground your knowledge?
I would say that not only has it done that, it's been quite honest about what it can't be used to determine. It can't be used to explain beauty, you know? Like it has limits, but
I'm asking him the metaphysical question. The metaphysical question. How did he determine that he was going to write that sentence? So what method of knowledge did you use to come up with this question? Is what I'd like to know.
Yeah, and it's also a method as well, right? So it doesn't have to undergo. All it has to show is utility, and that's enough to be using it. And it's shown utility in the last 400 years beyond our wildest dreams. Like I said, if you get ill, you go to a doctor and they prescribe you a drug. Those drugs have gone through a rigorous scientific testing in order to show the efficacy. Right. That's why you don't go to the church and pray anymore for getting over your cancer or you know, whatever it is, your cold or your viral infection, right?
Empiricism-based science produced aspirin. Your supernaturalism, fideism-based bullshit produced trepanning and bloodletting and witch hunts and witch burning. Yeah. So that's the difference.
It also produced the computer you're on and the internet.
Yeah. Anyway,
I gotta love when people question science using a computer and the internet.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, there we go.
More penis.
Hasn't he? When did he ask that question? Is it a while? Oh, up there. Okay, that's fine.
Which one? Is the scientific method
41. No, it's a couple of minutes. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it has. Anyway, I mean, we've determined and checked it, right, by the process of the same process by which we check everything in science.
Almost certainly.
It's shown its efficacy over the last few hundred years. So I guess it has undergone its own test method, but I don't think that's necessarily important anyway. I mean, we don't have to show, we don't have to test the scientific method because using the scientific method shows itself to be it shows its own efficacy by producing the modern world.
And I think deep down you know it. Deep down you know it. If you want to keep your house from being struck by lightning and you have the money to buy a lightning rod, you're going to do that. You're not going to pray for the lightning to avoid your house.
It's not dogma.
Right. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So this is back to the same old routine.
Yeah,
you've already asked
you
this
little
question.
Weasel.
You've asked
what
this
is
question.
What is the dogma?
You've asked this question once already.
But he wasn't listening.
And are we certain about what the scientific method produces? No, we're not. So it's not a dogma on that basis. We don't just hold to whatever science says. Science is in a constant state of provision. So if we find more data which contradicts previous data, then we take that into account, we include it in the model, and then we reevaluate. If new predictions come up, we go and test those. And if they change the consensus, that's how science moves forward.
If all the evidence in the world indicated something about science needed to change, it would. That's called science. If all the evidence in the world indicated something about a religion needed to change, the religion would not change. They would find some way to reinterpret reality. That's the difference.
Right. I've already answered that. No, we are not presupposing the scientific method. We are assuming that it's true and then testing. Right. And we make predictions, right, with that, whatever the science is, and then we go and test it. If those predictions are true, if those predictions are correct, right, then the assumption that it's true is justified. If they're wrong, the assumption that it's true is that it's not justified. And we go back and we make more predictions, we make more observations, more testing until we find things which aren't false.
And I know the previous guy wouldn't admit that he was a precept Christian. Is this guy going to admit that he's a precept Christian? Because you sound like a precept Christian, bro.
And the scientific method is highly more accurate than any of the prophecies in the Bible.
Yeah, you have to understand that when you use the word presupposing there, you're saying that it's not justified, right? That's what you're saying. A priori, not justified. We're not making that in science. We are making an assumption that it's true, and then we are testing that assumption.
Yes.
If it's found to be the case that that assumption is correct, right, then we believe that assumption was justified in making. That's very different to saying there are no justifications for it. We're just going to assume it's true.
Yep.
There are ad hoc assumptions. There are ad hoc justifications for the science that we believe, and we are only assuming it to be true. We're not saying that it is true. We're not saying that it is false. We're saying if we assume it's true, then X. If we assume it's false, then Y. What is the ratio of likelihoods between X and Y? If X is much more likely than Y, then we say it's true. That's all that's going on. It's a Bayesian calculation in that sense.
Premise 1, the only people who use the words presupposition, assumption, and other similar or other words that have the same meaning are presup Christians. Premise 2, this guy says presup and assumption a lot. Conclusion, this guy's a presup Christian.
No, there's nothing wrong with assumption. That is part of the philosophy of science.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just pointing out that it's really funny when presups won't admit to being presup Christians because they know how silly it is. The fact that you won't admit to that being your philosophy should tell you that you know there's something wrong with it.
Right. Okay, you're now going round in circles, Sate. Right? If you say, how do we know that the scientific method is true if we're just assuming it? It's shown by efficacy. Right? Hello, welcome to the modern world. Right? We use the scientific method, right? We assume it's true, and then we go and test it. If we find if we find that the predictions that are made, right, are concurrent with reality, then we're justified in using it. That's what an assumption is. And you can also say we assume it's false, right? That's another thing that we like to do because you can compare the two, right? If things are as likely true as false, we don't say that they're true.
Okay, I think we've answered enough of this guy's questions. I think if he wants any more questions answered, he needs to answer some questions himself. Or if he wants those questions answered, he can send them in a super chat, and then maybe we'll think about it.
Or email me and come on, basically come on for a private talk, and we'll try to sort out your problems. Yeah.
I told you wasn't listening.
So a friend of mine sent me a podcast that microdosing psilocybin basically for old people apparently reduces Alzheimer's and dementia by some degree, which is not surprising given what psilocybin does to your brain. It makes you grow a whole lot of dendrites and synapses. Anyway, so I posted the podcast. I think it's a good one. Old people should do drugs, I guess.
Yay.
Yay! Old people should do mushrooms. Hey, I'm up for that. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I figure once you reach a certain age, like go nuts, right?
Tilton? Robert Tilton blessing a prayer handkerchief. What'd you say, Austin? I didn't catch it.
I think once you get to a certain age, you should just go nuts, right? I mean, you're only going to live for another, 10 minutes anyways. Might as well speed and steal and smoke and drink and just have a great time. Eat donuts and hamburgers for every meal. Just go nuts.
Already did that.
Yeah, I did that. I tried that.
It's how we got like this, isn't it, Mike?
Yep, I ate a lot of salt and fat.
I did talk to Cafe Benghazi. I don't. Mike has also talked to Cafe, but I talked to Cafe, and I told him point blank that the thing that I don't like about Cafe's nonsense is that it's dangerous. That he's out here telling people that doing some large amount of drugs will help them find God, and that's very harmful to tell a crowd of stupid people that, because stupid people will do whatever they can to get high. If all they've got is some computer duster, they're going to huff a bunch of that. And that's not going to help them see God. It's going to help them stop being alive anymore. And so I do have some big problems with Cafe. And I do think the issue is he's profoundly confused. I don't think he's actually malicious or evil or anything like that. Like he's not over there lying and thinking, people will overdose and die, because I think he's actually actively doing the opposite lie. He's telling himself that if people listen to him, that they won't overdose and die, that they'll be responsible, that they'll follow his instructions to the letter and be extremely safe. And I think that's just so naive and unrealistic. If you know anything about how dumb people are, that's such an absurd thing to think. Like, one of my favorite quotes ever by George Carlin was, think about how dumb the average person is and then realize half of them are dumber than that.
So, Austin, you can't overdose on psilocybin. A woman did 2 ounces once.
No. My issue is not that I don't think people, it's not even that. It's that people aren't going to do psilocybin. They're going to do whatever they can get their hands on if they genuinely believe that getting fucked up out of their mind is going to help them see God, and they want to see God, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Anyway.
Also, there are some really, really dangerous drugs out there which help you see God.
Fuck yeah.
Right?
Like
DMT, for instance. I know somebody that took too much and they never recovered.
I've been really fucked up out of my mind. I've never seen it.
They literally had to be put in a mental asylum for like 8 months.
DMT and ketamine, I'm not exactly on board with those things, but psilocybin is pretty damn safe.
I've never seen it.
But you could fuck yourself up on psilocybin too, I guess, and end up with a psychotic break. You can do that all by yourself.
Yeah, Kurt makes a good point too. The risk isn't necessarily just death from the drug; it can also be from actions you take while you're high out of your gourd. And also, there's risks other than death. You can end up blind. You can end up deaf. You can end up disabled. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that, I can't remember Bill Hicks joke, right? He said one of his friends died from taking acid. He jumped out the 10th story of a. That's weird. Let's come back.
I had a buddy who jumped out of a window and said he could fly on acid. Yeah.
I heard that story back in the 60s, and I guess it was,
Yeah. Anyway, the joke was that he jumped out of a 10-story window and killed himself. And he said, fucking good. The guy was a fucking idiot if he thought he could fly.
Yes, exactly.
He should have taken off from the ground.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my buddy only jumped like out of a farmhouse, like a 2-story farmhouse. So like it broke a couple ribs and like it messed up his face on the blacktop, but he lived.
I think if you ever get high enough to see God, you're also high enough to do something really stupid.
He also though flapped his arms all the way till he hit the ground too. Though he did put in his best effort. Like I do remember that. Yeah.
No, if you're stupid enough to jump out of a window on mushrooms, you're stupid enough to jump out of a window at any time.
He was on acid. It was like blood or acid. The planet Saturn.
Even acid. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I just don't buy this bullshit. I mean, there's got to be something fucking wrong with you if you take a psychedelic and you do some crazy thing. There's got to be something wrong with you to begin with.
Yeah.
You got to get that fixed before you start fucking around with acid.
It didn't convince me I could fly. That's for sure. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think mental health is well available enough in this country that the average person is emotionally and mentally secure enough to have a really deep trip without it having some kind of effect on them.
Well, you got to know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, just take I mean, these are powerful drugs, and they need to be respected. And Kafai thinks that, you just keep doing more and more and more. If you don't see God, you do more. It's like, bullshit. But
I always have a buddy.
I think he's quite young still, though, Kafai. I mean, he must be in his early 20s, I would have thought.
No, I think he's in his 30s by now. I've known him for 15 years. 15 years I've known him, I think, yeah.
15 years? He hasn't been around 15 years.
Yeah, I got his phone number, and we've talked, and he's a pretty cool guy. He is a really nice person. So he's not...
I remember him 10 years ago, and he was definitely a teenager then.
One of our commenters in the chat says he refenestrated himself under the does this mean you jumped into a window?
Back into the window.
Because defenestrated means to jump out of a window or to get thrown out of a window. So he refenestrated himself? I'm not sure that's a good choice.
Anyways, this research that's going on with psychedelics right now is really important for mental health in general. And we don't want to lump it in with every other drug, and we need to keep an open mind about this shit. But if you're going to do this stuff, you need to respect what you're doing, and you need a lot of information before you dig into it.
Really?
I was 13.
You're saying there's a study that shows psychoactives are good for mental health?
Yeah. Yes.
Several different
There's a lot of studies right
now.
So
I think that's accurate. I don't know if they're essential for mental health.
No,
they're
not essential.
Well,
yeah.
What we do know is that the shit they give you, the antidepressants they give you, they are not working extremely well for a lot of people. And they have, whereas with psilocybin, for instance, they've had incredible results for mental health. As long as
what else is really great for mental health is exercise. And exercise has few side effects, and it's totally free. And it's one of few things that instantly makes you feel better that doesn't cost a dime. So I would recommend exercise over psychoactives, but that's interesting. I should look more into that.
If they're prescribed by a professional, right?
Okay, fair enough.
You should be using them.
Yeah,
well, and as I say, they've done extensive tests on PSTD and MDMA.
Yeah, if you do they can do the genetic testing now and find out which ones are more suitable for you.
Also cannabis use for cancer patients, which are finding it difficult to have an appetite.
What is TMS? What is TMS?
No.
I don't know what TMS is.
I'm not sure.
Trimethyl what? TMS. Oh, what is TMS?
I'm not saying that exercise will fix depression. It does correlate with better mood and better health outcomes if you exercise regularly.
When you're depressed, the last thing you feel like doing is exercising.
Yeah, when you're really depressed, the last thing you do is to do something that'll make you feel better. When you're really depressed, you will do whatever it is that will make you feel worse. And that's the problem with depression. And it's really, and I have a fuck of a time with it, especially in February. And
making yourself get up and do exercises is
I'm not trying to be one of those toxic positivity bros who's like, just work out. You don't need medicine. No, you need therapy. You do need medicine. You do need mental health professionals and physiological physicians, physical health professionals. You should consult them when you can. I'm saying that exercise is good for you and it's free. So if you can exercise, it will improve your health and mood.
Well, you should be doing exercise regardless.
Yeah. And for sure, that's one of the reasons I think people who live active lives tend to live longer and be in better psychological health because they get exercise. They're at work, walking around, standing up, talking to people, doing activities, or they're on a college campus, walking around, standing up, talking to people, doing activities. And that in itself is a form of exercise. Just activity in general is good for you.
I run my mile.
The only difference I've found to that is that people with 1/8 penises really struggle.
That'll depress you for sure.
So I have an instant cure for basically really bad, deep. I don't want to use the S word, depression, and have a angry bear chase you, and immediately relieves the depression.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean, if we could just get an angry bear,
as soon as you get away from the bear, I imagine problems start setting back in again.
It comes back. Yeah, you gotta keep the bear well fed and keep him around.
Right.
And that's how half the antidepressant drugs they give you work.
You know what? I'm now picturing like you know how on the set of the Green Hornet, like he paid Kato to attack him. Like I'm picturing this scenario where you have severe depression, so you pay a clan of ninjas to always be chasing you. And
that was the Pink Panther thing.
You know what? That's an interesting program. We should market that. I bet we could make some money off of it. Well, but the only downside is we have to train ourselves to be ninjas first. But I'm cool with that. If anybody else is interested.
Yeah, we're learning a lot about depression now. And anyway, I use various compounds to combat my depression, and I'm having a lot of luck with it. So I wish if I discovered it when I was in my I did kind of discover it in my 20s, but then I didn't really understand what was going on. But my life would have turned out very different, I think. And I had a friend that was so suffering from depression so bad that he was comatose, that he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't shower, he wouldn't eat. And they put him on Zoloft and all those things. And he managed to live a sort of a half-assed normal life. And he died at 58 of throat cancer, and primarily because he didn't catch it because he thought it had something to do with his depression. The reason that he was like feeling the way he was, they changed his drugs or whatever. But I mean, Zoloft and all that stuff kept him alive, but they just barely kept him alive. He was a tragic person. The guy had a brain the size of a fucking planet, and he worked at a nursing home as an aide or whatever all his life. Fucking sad shit. He was my best friend.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mike.
Yeah.
I got really, really depressed when I started studying sociology. I got so depressed I almost lost my job. Like they pulled me aside and they were like, why are you not working? And I was like, because I'm a fucking slave, basically. Like, and I realize that now, and it's hard to care about this anymore. And, society is so fucked up. Studying society will make you feel a little fucked up.
Yep. Anyway, we got to end, guys. I got to go talk to my sister. She's also suffering.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, we're ending on a great note there. Isn't that just lovely?
It's a wonderful note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember, folks, drugs help.
Yeah. Especially if you have 1/8 of a penis.
Yeah. Yep. If you have 1/8 of a penis, you're likely to suffer from depression, right?
Yeah.
Until you evolve to have a full penis.
Can I just ask Robin a question here, if you wouldn't mind?
Yes.
What do you really think of cocks?
What?
What do you really think of cocks?
They're a lousy cable company.
I used to fight chickens, but I found it to be very unethical.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal sport.
What kind of chicken do you like? A large one or a small one?
They wake you up.
The way you use, a big red. So you don't use the bainies, so you don't use the small ones. But roosters, you fight roosters.
Look, both are going to have their advantages and disadvantages, right?
So you don't have a big oven then? Is that what you said?
No. My cats would never let a rooster around here now. Anyway, no roosters. Okay. No, my oven's not big there, so I knows.
No, I'm just asking questions. Questions.
By the way, there's a question about Dave, and Dave was not feeling well this week, and he's going through.
We love Dave.
He's going through some tough treatments, and
we are happy to pick up the slack for Dave so that he can be in the best health that he can, and so
and
we're happy to be here and to laugh at Jimbob's misunderstanding of penis for a little while.
Okay, wait a minute. Trusty Paco, you're not supposed to chew it. Okay, yeah. I don't know if they.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, we gotta get out of here, guys.
You know what they say: big nose, big handkerchief.
Okay, guys, we're ending the stream. Goodbye, cruel world.
See ya.
Simos.
Boston.
For 2 minutes, Simos.
Okay. Say again.
You stick around for a couple of minutes.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
ending
sure.
the stream. Okay.
Yeah. Goodbye, cruel world.
Goodbye, cruel world.
And remember to use condoms, even if you've only got